One, check, 1 2. One, check, 1 2. This should work now. No data. Excellent connection. Excellent connection. There we go. Yeah, I can hear me. I can hear you. You can hear me. One, check connection. There we go. Yeah, I can hear me. I can hear you. You can hear me. One, check connection. Okay, so we're rolling. We're rolling in full controlling on a Friday. Got my chat window just above me there. What are we doing? What are we doing? I've got my Nintendo Switch rigged up. I love the Nintendo Switch. And I've got this new game called Kirakira Stars Idol Project AI. Kirakira Stars Idol. It might not be AI, it might just be I. The concept of the game is fairly straightforward. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be running the life of last week on this stream. If I switch to 35mm browsing and I get my actual browser window up, you chuffer. Get my actual browser window up, you chuffer. Is that it? Yeah, that might be it. Looking at Nintendo Switch stuff, wasn't I? Yeah. Last week on our channel on YouTube. This is our channel. Your channel. We did a game called Make Her a Star, and that's now today. Videos. And we did, there it is, Needy Streamer Overload, E-Girl Simulator, Needy Streamer Overload. We controlled the life of a needy streamer in a simulated version on a computer. We controlled the life of a needy streamer, and it was quite fun. And through my decisions, we sorted ourselves out. We sorted her out. It's very positive, healthy decisions I made, I think, really. So that was last week. Interesting. I like them. I think they're fun, these games. This week, we are playing Kirakira Stars Live. So what we're doing is we're going to be controlling the life of a wannabe pop idol. Kirakira Stars Idol Project. Rah, rah, rah. It's not a new game now, of course. It's a 2020 game, just like Genshin Impact. And it's Japanese, I think, might be Japanese. And the concept is that we control the life of a young girl. We try and turn her into a pop star. She listens to what we say and does what we say. It's also on this tip of, I don't know if you've heard of waifu simulators. Don't want anything rude coming up, thank you Google, but the concept of a waifu simulator is just that some people find these like anime characters to be quite attractive, and you know, they live a fantasy life where these anime characters are like their girlfriends, and like each to their own as far as I'm concerned, although it's a bit different for me, but like they buy all the figurines, you know, they're really into this stuff. They have their favourites. And so I've been playing Genshin Impact. Can't spell on this keyboard because the damn keys are in a different place. And if I just put Genshin Impact waifu, then look, waifu tier list, Genshin Impact. People see Genshin Impact as being a bit of a waifu game. Like they think that some of these female characters quite attractive, the way they're drawn. They think that, oh, I wish I was married to Jean, for example. I don't know, you know, I don't know because this isn't really my bag. I don't really do this. Genshin Impact, as far as I'm concerned, is not like that. It's not like that. I don't get that vibe from it myself. I get much more a cutty swords, ninja, kung fu sort of vibe myself. But I suppose it's different strokes for different folks, and it's what you come from and what you're interested in. The game is very much an anime game. It's very much an anime-based game. Like, the art style is anime. So, without going too deep on what anime is and where it comes from, it's Japan, isn't it? And it's all that. So, there's this little overlap with this waifu thing. So, I wanted to play a game that was considered much more straightforward waifu Waifu simulation. I wanted to play a game like that seems more like it. Now you can get these dating games. I just put, again, my caps lock came on because the keys are in the wrong place. Dating, what did I say? Dating simulator anime. If I put waifu again, you get lots of different options here. There you go. So there are actual games that really do, you know, specifically toy with these ideas, where you make decisions, the waifu loves you or doesn't, or you do or don't love your waifu. I don't know, like quite a lot of them are sort of choose your own story style games, but there's all sorts of options. There's all sorts of different ideas. And I don't really know much about it because I'm not really into it, so this is what we're doing today. This is what we're doing today. It's going to be a bit of a one-off, I think. I don't know how long the Kirakira Stars Idol project goes on for. I don't know the extent of the project. I'm hoping it's not going to take us more than a couple of episodes. You know, I'm not really planning on becoming a waifu streamer. Oh, not planning on that at all. So we will find out now what it's like, and if it becomes one of these and I'm laughing as well, bear in mind I'm not taking the piss out of anyone, each to their own, but if it becomes one of these longer term things, I'll bin it off. You know, I'm not that into this, but let's see what goes on. So here we go, let's load it up. Bit different for me today because I'm playing it on the Nintendo Switch. I had to do a little bit of a fiddle about to get it on screen and to get the sound working, so I've done a little fiddle about and hopefully it works. Let's check that. Let's check that. Let's check that. Oh, well, I can hear it, but you can't see it. Oh, it's because I moved switch screen in. There we go. Got it. Got to use my brain today, so that means now I've got this, I can turn off my music. There we go. It's obviously got its own music, hasn't it? Pumping away. Pumping on the stereo. My options here are start, continue, load, configuration, make and guide. I like to turn the music down a bit. Don't want that pumping away for me. Don't need that pumping away for me. I'm happy with that. Just turned down a bit. Gonna go back now, yeah. Might be a bit low, that might be. What's this? Voice skip on or off? BGM voice filter of playing voice on or off. I don't know what their choices are there. I don't know what they mean, but we'll leave them off then. Let's start. It's not playing the voice. It's not voice acted. Maybe that's an issue. I don't know what to do now. Oh. See, I told you it was going to be like this. Fucking hell. I didn't realise it was going to be like this, though. A pair of buttocks flying to view. Bloody hell. Let's get that off the screen as quick as possible. Go on. It's only a cartoon, isn't it? It's not even actually that rude. So they're perfect buttocks, apparently. Look, get rid of them. I'm done. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. I'm surprised already. This is so forward, you know. It's a woman's body, totally different from the little girl I barely remember. Thank God for that. It's a grown-up, at least. This woman's body is so lovely, it almost makes the man... Oh, yeah, she says. Oh, she's called AI. She's called I. She's crossed with us. All right. Bloody hell. Bloody hell, that was a bit... Like, for the start of stream, for me, that was a bit... Like, bloody hell. Don't worry though, it's only a game. I stumble out the changing room and the door almost slams on the way out. Where are we? We're in a little room. I can't believe she was changing. I was carried away by the view and now I realise what's happened and break out in a cold sweat. I sit down on the floor with my head in my hands. That's right, I've been staying with her since yesterday. I might still be half asleep, but how could this have happened? I'm staying with my childhood friend. Right. So that was inappropriate. What a beautiful sunset. God, I'm going to have to keep pressing the button and reading it out. I hate doing that. I hate doing that. It's annoying me now already. And where's my lighter? Am I an idiot? Yeah. Wire tangled around the chest, so I can't move my head properly. No lighter in my pocket, just give me 1 second. Oh, I hope it doesn't get saucy, you know. I know it's gonna, isn't it? It's gonna be like that sort of game, but I hope it doesn't. I'm just gonna check this on the internet quickly before we continue. I'm just gonna ask Google, Kirakira Stars Ideal Project AI. It's a long name. PG question mark. Doesn't say anything about that. Age rating 18. Mature content. Contains crude sexual humour and suggestive content. Okay, that's okay though. Suggestive is okay, not actual directly pornography. All the characters are over the age of 18, it says. Make sure to say that. Bloody hell, I didn't realise it was... I thought it was, you know, a game on the computer. I didn't realise it was going to be 18 rated. Yep. And the other thing I wanted to find out was AI. Let's put nudity. See if because I don't want that happening on the screen, do I? Can't find anything specific that says don't show this on stream. So that's okay. And I want to know the game length, which I should have looked at before we started, but what the hell. Four hours. The medium playtime is 2, so that's alright. That's what I thought it would be. Okay, gazing at the sky from the Dust Art Park, I let out a dry laugh. Now, I wish it was voice acted. I don't know if that's my own fault for choosing the wrong setting at the start. But today was another failure. If it was voice acted, I wouldn't have to keep reading it. I'm going to assume you can read. Yeah? Oh, hello, hello, Angie. Some reason my chat on the screen is different from when it was on Twitch yesterday. YouTube starts the chat at the top. No, it starts it down here for some reason. Look, there we go. I have to read like a Genshin Impact Wet Boy or Dr. Paimon. God, could you imagine if I had to put a voice on as well? I find it to be an incredibly tiresome experience to have to read everything out. I do the talking as well, don't I? And the fact that this game is narrative, you know, it's structured around these little passages of text, you'd think they'd bother to voice act it. And that's a real negative for the game, but I didn't expect a lot from this game, but that's a real negative. I can assume you can read. The weight of cold reality. I'm not going to do it in like a character voice or anything. I'm just going to say it. The weight of cold reality sits on my shoulders. I hear the voice on the video screens. Lately, there's so many idols. People say it's like a new age of war. And up next with a new song from Rising Star. After a little intro, they play a music video from a new idol. Seen from this far, her obvious passion pulls me in. Where's the images of it? From watching it, I forget about our problems. Where is it? Idols, they create a perfect image of intimacy and show us dreams while they sing and dance. Now, this is a bit different from what we have in the UK, in America. We do have pop idols, don't we? We certainly do. But the Japanese concept of an idol is slightly different. Making a mess of my desk already. Need my mouse, need this, that can fuck off. Starting to get angry now. I'm actually starting to get angry. I'll tell you one of the things, shouldn't feed the trolls, but somebody left me a message today saying that I was trying to, it's the first thing I saw when I started on YouTube today, is you've nothing on Martin, it's a weak attempt. I'm hopping on Martin's bandwagon because he's got more subs than me. Like, I'm trying to cloy for subs off Martin Lidka. All his subscribers are fucking nutters. And I open the door to the shit room when I do videos on him, and I've opened the door to the shit room and I get people like that trolling me. Actually, now I say it out loud on YouTube, it makes it more funny for me. It's less annoying. But like, I just want to grab them and shake them by the hair and be like, do you really think that? Do you really think that? Do you really think I want a piece of Martin's pie? Oh my god. And then the fucking, I should have it on my headline, or on every video I should say, look, I've achieved over I've achieved the 20,000 sub mark on YouTube. I've achieved the 20,000 on the True Binaural ASMR. I've achieved the million video views. You know, I've achieved the numbers. It's not about that for me. It is a way. This channel is a bit about the numbers, isn't it? We want the numbers to go up, but like, if I was that desperate for YouTube fame, I'd be doing my OnlyFans, wouldn't I? Be becoming an idol. Certainly wouldn't be so worried about chuffing Martin and his fans. Exactly, we're not even in the same category, are we? And that's it. You got that right there, Angie. It's hilarious what they cook up in their heads when they don't have all the information. And that's why the comments annoy me. It's not because they're trolling me and they're getting to me. It's not that. It's that I look at it and I think, well, that's a stupid thing to say. And you're only saying it because you don't understand things properly. And that's why I say I wish I could grab them by the hair and put the information in their head and, like, you know, wakey, you idiot. But I can't. So I just let it go. But it's just funny that when I sit down to stream, and it's my own fault, like I say, I've opened the door to the shit room, haven't I? Shit, have I done this now? There we go. I've opened the door to the shit room, and it's my own fault. But I did say it. Do you remember I said it when I started doing these videos about these Tartarians? We're going to get some nice people. You know, we've got some nice people through it. And we've attracted some nice people. But my God, have we attracted some people who haven't had a good old think. You know, who haven't had a good old think. Because they all follow that Martin Leake Flat Earth Tartaria shit, don't they? So they obviously hadn't had a good old think. And then they watch my video and they get cross. Anyway, that's a different story. Idols, that's what I was doing. I was going on the internet to look up idols. Japanese idols. And then on here, I've got Firefox. So what they're saying here is it's a type of entertainer marketed for image, attractiveness and personality. Like, they're much more straightforward about it. We have that in the UK and in America as well. You know, you've got lots of artists who aren't particularly good musical artists, but they look the part. I mean, I don't know these Japanese artists, so I don't know if they're good singers or not. You know, I don't know if that's a good example of an idol or not, do I? I certainly know that Baby Metal are really good musical. I like Baby Metal, I like their work, but I wouldn't say they're the same as a metal band. Like, I don't think these three girls come up with the riffs, but they certainly look the part. AKB48 are very, very popular. Like, AKB48 is an area of Japan. It's like a part. It's like being called, I don't know what your zip code is in New York, or zip code of, you know, it's like being named after your zip code or your postcode. So they named this band after the postcode, and look how many of them are. There are fucking loads of them. There are fucking loads of them. So it's just pop stars like we have in England, but they're more straightforward with the fact that the pop stars are disposable. You know, in AKB48, your favourite member will have left and a new one will come through. As they hit a certain age, they're just binned off and you get a new member in. There's like 20 members, so it doesn't matter. Let me show you this. AKB48. Heavy rotation's a good example. And you'll recognise, like, what's going on here. Sorry about the... I'm not going to play the song really, I'm going to play a clip of the song, like a snippet of the song. But look, you know, you can see what's going on here, can't you? It's this pop music. We've got it in the West. But they go like, it's like turned up to 11, look. Look how many of them there are. And, like, we don't maybe... Like, in the West, we don't... I mean, we do. We go even further than this. But, you know, they're all in their underwear. They're all in bed together. They're all, you know, acting like little girls, really. And it's just to sell it to the... And it's not so much selling it to the little girls, is it? It's, and, you know, younger people. It's selling it to gentlemen, I think. I don't know. Anyway, look, that's the concept of an idol, though. It's just like what we've got in the UK with our pop stars who don't write their own songs, can't really sing. It's just like what you've got in America with pop stars who aren't really that amazing musically, who haven't really written anything special musically, but look the part. You know, your Ariana Grandes and whoever. I mean, Ariana Grande can sing, but I don't know if she's much of a musician. But anyway, look, you know what I'm talking about. You can make up your own mind, can't you? Stinkers aren't thinkers. Thanks, MM. That's a good point, yeah. The owners and handlers still want to make money with the brand once the girls grow up. That's true, so, but they just bin the girls off. I know this for a fact. With these bands, you've got a shelf life, and when you hit a certain age, you're not allowed in the band anymore, and then they bring in a new one. I mean, I'm just using this as an example. This is a very, very popular group in Japan, so I don't want anyone to be like, oh, angry at me because I said this, but it's true, isn't it? It's true. That's what goes on. It's not up my street. I'm not into this shit. You know, if I want to see a picture of a naked woman, I don't really go to pop music for my pornography as an adult. I'm not really bothered about pop music for pornography, but when you're a kid and you're not allowed to watch pornography, this is as close as it gets. This is the equivalent of the Freeman's catalogue. Do you know what I mean? Looking at the underwear in the catalogue when you're a kid. So I don't know. And also, grown men seem to like this as well. Like, but it's not overtly pornographic, but it is overtly sexualized, and it is infantized as well. You know, they're supposed to be like kids doing childish things. They're not like full thinking grown women, or they're not presented as such. So it is a bit like there's an edge of paedophilia involved. Like, you've got to accept it, there is. There's an edge of paedophilia in this. Whatever your feelings and thoughts, they are grown-ups, but they're acting like children. So it's all weird to me, but that's the concept of an idol. It's not far away from our concepts of music pop stars in our country, and yours. You know, it's not far away from... I mean, obviously this has been copied from that. Like, Little Mix are not, like, powerful women in the way they think they are they? What they really are is, like, a replication of the most profitable pop idol imagery from other countries, from other, you know, it's a bit, they're a little bit Destiny's Child. They're like a shit Destiny's Child, aren't they? Like a shit Destiny's Child. But they're obviously half naked, aren't they? You wouldn't get these videos with them fully clothed, would you? Like, it wouldn't work properly if they weren't wearing their bras outside of their tops. So it's just shit. It's just shit, really, as far as I'm concerned. It's just shit. But it goes on. So there's no point in getting too het up about it, is there? It goes on. So I think that's the where we're at with that. I now need to turn off Firefox so that you can see the game, but for some reason I can't find it because it appears to already be off, so that doesn't make sense to me. I've got the Nintendo Switch on top now, so that should be on top, so why not? Oh, this is annoying me now. There we go, got rid of it. It's damaging for kids. I've seen reports on how girl bands are managed. It's really sad. They're controlled very much like the Olympic gymnasts were controlled. Good point. Yeah. And this is the irony of something like the Spice Girls, isn't it, that we had in the UK? So we'll bring this back on then for one more run. The irony is that the Spice Girls that we had in the UK were promoting this concept of girl power. This feminist concept of girl power. Of course, behind the camera, and I just realised how badly lit that is, how awful this video is, but behind the camera and in the camera, on the screen, look, there's a man there that she's sexy dancing to. Like, even on this video, look. Even on this video, look. Who's that canoodling with a man? Oh, it's Victoria snogging a man. So it's about what men think of you, and interestingly, their manager, their management team, their record producers, the people who wrote the records, the people who performed the music in the records, the original singers, possibly not the original singers, but the people who told them what to wear, literally told them what to wear, they're all men, all of them men. Men took the biggest cut of money. Men got the money from the management and the record sales. The Spice Girls themselves did become rich and went on to do their own thing on the back of this. But the irony of these images of them, you know, being powerful women, when in fact they're only placed there as puppets by men, was not lost on me. You know, I thought that was fucking stupid in itself. I thought they were fucking stupid, and they are. You know, we know that they're not geniuses, they're not the smartest people in the world. They were put there because they're not the smartest people in the world, so they don't really get the concepts properly, and they're prepared to essentially prostitute themselves, do the things the men tell them to get the money. And it did involve talking about girl power, which is ironic, isn't it? But that worked as a marketing trick. It worked really well. Well done, the Spice Girls. They got rich and lost a lot of credibility in a lot of people's eyes, but you know, what's credibility when you're rich? Anyway, the joke is that we're doing the same thing now. Okay, you can't see the picture of it. I had to bring you the pictures because this chuffing game didn't bother with the pictures. But we're creating an idol ourselves. These ladies are diamonds in the rough, it says. Like, it's going to sing the praises of idols in this game. And their lack of experience shows that's just fine with idols. Because part of the pleasure fans take is watching them grow and improve. So we're giving the concepts here. We're going to be the manager. We're going to be the evil swim team manager. We're going to be doing the bullying. So let's go. I'd like to produce an idol like that. Looking at things, I can't help but be depressed about the gap between reality and desire. I guess I'd better make the best of things. It's a bit of backstory for me. I've worked in a cafe. I walk around with wrinkled shirts and I'm tired. People think I'm a zombie. It's time to stop ogling idols and find a place to sleep. I tried to stand up from my bench. I'm exhausted and I fall over. I mean, they're not even bothering to show us any pictures. Not even bothering to show it. Like, this is a really poor quality of a game at my end here. What's it zooming in on? Nothing. Background images. Blackness now. No images. A voice. She's worried. She's worried because I'm poorly. I wake up. And there she is, right. She's cute, apparently. Her hair glitters. I mean, she's not, in my opinion, she's not cute. She's perfectly symmetrical, which is kind of weird. Her eyes are massive, which is kind of scary, and she's got this rhythmic heaving motion going on, so that's a bit intimidating. And a pointy chin. I don't find her attractive. She hasn't got a nose, but like, our character does find her attractive. Are you an angel? It's going to be in Japan. It's going to be Japanese. She's nice. Well, she's got to be. She's got to be nice. I'll tell you what she's got to be. For this idol thing to work, she's got to be soft around the edges, hasn't she? She can't be hard and sharp and intelligent, forward-thinking, knowledgeable. She's going to require our help. So she's got to be naive, manipulatable, or easy to coerce. She's got to be, you know what I'm saying, don't you? Like, in my opinion, making a good idol would be teaching her to be empowered, like the exact thing the Spice Girls spoke of, whilst taking their power from men. But to be empowered in her own right, to make these decisions for herself, to know where her power lies and how to utilise it without men being involved as part of the equation. Because it's all well and good to say, I'm really powerful, look, have you seen my boobies? Men love boobies. Oh, that's great, but when you meet a blind man who's not allowed to feel you up to check how big your boobies are, you have no power. When you meet a lady who's not interested in boobies, you have no power. If your power is predicated on a man's desire, then you have no real power. You need to, like, this is why I think it's really interesting that the burqa, whilst it comes from a place of misogyny, is actually an interesting concept. When you can't see what a woman looks like and you just have to judge her on her personality, how do you judge her? Of course, we should be able to see what they look like as well, but it's just one of those things in this world that we have things about the opposite sex, or the same sex, depending on your preferences, but we have things about people that we find attractive, and that colours the way we see or think about them when we see those things. So some people, even the Puritans, the prudes, the early Americans, whatever, the Victorians, they would say, oh no, I don't want to see your boobies, I'd rather judge you as a person one-on-one. Your personality is what I want to see coming through. So I because I've got these problems, my hormones and stuff, if you're going to show me your fanny, I'm going to get like funny ideas. Can we just keep the sex organs under the table for now? Can we keep them covered up? I won't get my willy out on the table. I'll keep my jumper on, my shirt on, and you don't get your boobies out, and we can talk one-to-one as humans. You know, there's that sort of idea in there. I don't know if I'd adhere to that, but it's funny that that's an idea. We're going the other way here. We're going somewhere else. I can't tell her I was bewitched, but I can't help acting weird. At the moment, I've got no choices. You'd have loved the burqa in high school. Boys could say so many naughty things to young girls. See, that's an interesting concept, isn't it? I haven't thought of that because I didn't go to a mixed school. I went to a boys' school, so I never really had to think about these things as a school child. But certainly my hormones at that age would have caused me problems if I was constantly thinking about, looking at, like, I don't want to say temptation, it's the wrong word, but, you know, it's natural for us to be interested by the opposite sex, or the same sex, or something sexy, I should say. We've got different things that we find sexy, maybe. So it's natural for us as humans to find and explore with that. But at school is not the right environment, is it? So that's an interesting, good point. Although my sister went to an all-girls school, and she would say she hated it because girls are bitchy. And without the... I mean, maybe there's a different dynamic when you're mixed. Maybe there's a different dynamic, but that's a different conversation. Is something wrong? Why is she staring at me? I think she knows me. So we're friends, and she's Ai. When she says her name, an old memory comes rising. I look at the woman in front of me again. Now that I see her, she does bear a certain resemblance to the girl I played with long ago. And interesting for me, as the game player, You had a guy sat in front of me in algebra, turn around and grab. Bloody hell, that's sexual assault. And I'm laughing, but fucking hell, that's sexual assault. I don't know where to start with that, and nor would I want to. Thank God I went to a boys' school and I didn't have to think about those things. I certainly wouldn't have been sexually assaulting anyone, but I certainly wouldn't have put up with somebody being a sexual offender in my classroom either. I'd have probably kicked right the fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the sort of thing where I told you my stories about kicking the bullies in the knee, haven't I? Because I wasn't big enough to kick them in anywhere else. If someone bullies me and they're bigger than me, I'll just lash out at whatever I can reach. I'd have probably kicked off with the person who grabbed your boobies. I'd have probably said, you can't fucking do that, and what the fuck are you up to? And then caused a problem. And in the end, I bet it would be me that got expelled for fighting. But anyway, thank God we didn't have to deal with that. Yeah, you've got lots of stories, I imagine. Yeah, and I bet everyone has. I bet people who are watching this might have their own thoughts running through. One thing I wanted to say was just specifically about the game, but is that I'm reading all these words, so I'm missing. It's actually animated. She's blinking. She's, a character. I'm missing that interaction with the character because I'm reading all the words. Someone who lived next. It's a shock. She used to follow me like a sister. Now she's all grown up and cute as hell. We haven't talked since I moved. Never imagined running into you here. When she smiles, it keeps everything. Third thing he says is like, when she smiles, my memories flood back and feels right. He obviously loves her. We obviously love her. But what a stupid idea to put in straight away. Like, I don't love her. I don't know anything about her. I forgot that I even knew her. I only just started to think, do I recognise her? So if you knew someone when you were a child, and then you might recognise them now as an adult, and you think, oh, it is her, then you don't love her because you don't know anything about her. If you do think you fall in love with someone, right? People believe in love at first sight. Well, this isn't love at first sight because it's not our first meeting. We were kids at first sight. We didn't fall in love then. So people believe in love at first sight, whatever. This isn't it. But even if you do believe in that, bear this in mind. That what happens when you fall in love with someone, for example, I love I can't know how to fucking pronounce her name, but let alone love her. I love her. What do I love about her? I don't know enough about her yet, do I? I know that she's, let's say, pretty. Let's say we're attracted to her because our character is, let's say, pretty. Okay, that's one thing, tick. Does she like animals in the same way I do? She might have a horse. She might hit the horse with the stick while she's riding it. Oh, I don't like that. I'm vegan. I love animals. I want them to live natural lives. I don't want you to force it to run or, keep it in a barn and a stable where you choose when it comes out and when it goes home. No, I want it to run in the fields and free. Now, if you see a horse in the wild, a wild horse, they just run in, they're just eating, they're just doing their thing. I want horses to live natural lives. So maybe there's a conflict between us that I didn't know would come up until we encountered a horse. I don't know if I truly love someone until I've investigated their personality, until we've spent time together and seen how our personalities match. Yeah, there's the physical. The physical's great, the physical's important even, but the physical doesn't last forever, and you can't really, you can enjoy the physical with someone who you despise, but when you start getting feelings of, I want to say, like the opposite of being inspired, like when you start thinking, about somebody, that kind of puts you off other aspects. So that can happen through personality. So what I'm saying is, early days, when you meet someone, what happens as a human being is you don't know if she likes horses or not, yeah? You don't know it. So you say to yourself, oh, she's fantastic, she's brilliant, she, he, they. Bear in mind, I'm using this as an example, but put in your example here if you're into boys or if you're into non-specific genders or whatever, The concept that you have in your brain that naturally happens as a human is that this could be you have hope. This could be the person, this could be the everything. And until she says, oh, I've got a horse, I ride it all the time. Are you? You're one of them, are you, who treats animals like objects? Oh, like, until that happens, you don't have that feeling. So inside yourself, you think she could love horses, like maybe she's a vegan. You give her the benefit of the doubt, you give them the benefit of the doubt with all these things. because you've got this fantasy in your mind of what you want, of what it could be. And until someone lets themselves down, you let them fill in those blanks as hopes. This could be the one. And that's why things go to shit, because they don't turn out to live up to those unreal expectations. You need to temper those expectations at first. You need to say to yourself, I might not be in love with this person. What I'm in love with is the idea of this person. What I'm in love with is what she could represent to me in the future, my hopes and dreams. She might not embody them. She might have some of the qualities and not others. Maybe I have to compromise. Is that my true love, my one true love, where I compromise? I didn't envisage compromising. When you get further down the road, when you're like, 2 months, 6 months, a year down the road, and you're engaged in these compromises, you might think differently about your hopes and dreams. This person might not be a true love. You might meet somebody else and they might represent all the hopes. Oh, this person I'm with is a chuffer with certain things. I don't like the way they brush their teeth in the morning. Their singing voice is awful. And, I didn't realise all these little things would add up to being something that I don't really envisage myself putting up with all my life. Or maybe I don't mind the way they don't make a cup of tea. I don't mind the fact that they're not very good at making cups of tea. I make my own tea. I fucking love them. I'll let them off that. I've made an awful cup of tea today. It tastes horrible, but I'll let them off that, because tea is not the most important thing in my life. And I realise as a well-rounded adult that making a cup of tea, or failing to, does not really come into the truth, the heart of the matter about whether I love you. So I can leave that and disregard it. So these things are all important to realise. What this game is not doing is really, shoveling that on. What it's sort of doing is saying, look, here's someone I recognise from childhood. So I'm in love now, boom. I didn't recognise you at first, but now I do. I'm in love with you. Like, everything about her is just like tick box, tick box, tick box. You're living in a dream world, arty, fairyland. Sometimes you meet these people and in your head you tick box, oh not tick, don't worry about that box, oh forget that box, tick box. You convince yourself they're box tickers because you want a box ticker, but maybe in reality no one is, and maybe we shouldn't be looking at love like that. Maybe you should be looking at someone's personality, how well rounded they are, how you fit together, even them on their own, how brilliant they are. It's irrelevant if you can't combine your forces. It's irrelevant, isn't it? How good they are if you just don't get on well together. If they like this movie and you like that movie, and every time you go to the cinema you sit in different cinema seat, if she's pulling that way and you're pulling this way, and I want to live in New York and you want to live in chuffing Egypt, you've got to have some other things in common that work, because otherwise those things that pull apart, those little imperfections, they build resentments, and you start like, it's really weird in this world. I'll tell you something about this, right? It's really weird in this world, the way two people can get together initially because they think each other is brilliant. Oh, I love you. Oh, you're brilliant. Oh, I love you. Oh, we did the good sex. Oh, I like the sex. Oh, would you like the same band as me? Yes. Oh, would you like this food? I also like this food. Brilliant. We're together forever. And then, you can bump into the same couple 2 years down the line. Oh, this chuffer, when they snore, oh, would you stop your snoring? Oh, you stop your fucking moaning. You're always moaning, aren't you? Oh, you're always moaning. I want to drive. I can't let you drive. You won't drive properly. And they fucking hate each other. They don't like each other. They fucking hate each other. But because they've been doing the sex and they've been hanging out with each other, and I like your hair and I like the way you like this, everything else that I hate, I'll have to put up with and argue about and moan about. Don't piss and moan at the person you're with about the person you're with. Don't piss and moan with the person you're with about the person you're with. If you're not enjoying what they're doing, fucking go away. Leave them to it. Don't bully them. Don't tell them they can't go out. Don't check their phone. If you feel funny inside because of what's going on their phone, they can have their phone and you can leave them. They're not that perfect person you added up in your mind. You're making compromises, and to be honest, you're probably going too far over the compromise line for my liking. I don't want to have to put up with a load of shit. Like if I went to London with my girlfriend or boyfriend or non-specific gendered partner, like if I went there with my boyfriend and my boyfriend was always like fucking like telling me about, oh, you have to get on this train now, I don't want to go on that train, I want to go over here, oh, you're fucking this and that, and like, fuck it, you get on your train and you go around London the way you want, I'll get on my train, I'll go around the way I want, oh, I don't like this food, oh, I want to go to this place, oh, fuck off then, leave me to it, we're obviously not well suited. Yeah. Oh, but I love you, but you're my girlfriend, and I love you, and my boyfriend, and I don't want to see you, I want to be with you all the time, but you don't, because I want to go on this train over here, and you don't, you want to go on that one over there, so you don't want that. You've convinced yourself that you can't have life without it. Get that out of your head, you fucking nutter. This is where it starts. This is where it starts. Our character is putting all their ideas onto this love thing. Maybe because of how someone looks. Maybe because of a certain quality of their personality that you find engaging at the start. Give it 6 months, give it a year. If you still feel like that, maybe it's time to go, buying those Valentine cards. Maybe it's time to go buying those rings. Maybe if you are starting to pick out she didn't tell me she was big on garlic she's going to eat garlic every night at 9 o'clock, and I just can't stand the smell. That might be a simple, silly little thing. You can get over that. Oh, I can't stand the smell, but I fucking love you, so I'm just going to shut up about the smell and get on with loving you. Or it might be something that I can't fucking put up with. It's giving me a headache every night. Would you fucking stop it? It's doing my head in. I'm not going to stay here and have my head done in. I'm doing my own head in if I force you to stay here and do what I want. And you see what I'm saying? You can't bully people. You can't convince them to be who you want them to be because you thought they were something that they're not. They're not going to show you all of who they are because you're making it clear that, there is a great example. I use veganism not because it's an easy example, but let's say I'm strict vegan because I am, and they're some sort of super carnivore. They love hunting. They don't say anything about the hunting because they know it's going to piss me off. They keep that inside deep down. And then one day, we go on a hunt and they grab the gun and shoot I didn't realise you were that. No, of course you didn't. I hid that from you. I didn't want you to see because I knew who you were. I knew it would anger you. I didn't want this relationship to fuck up in day 2, so I kept it down and hoped it might work. This shit goes on as well. When it comes up, when it pops up, you have to say, look, I didn't realise that. But instead of ignoring it and saying, I'm going to pretend you're someone else. I'm not going to, hunting, you say. You never mentioned that before. I'll put that to the back of my mind. Hopefully that won't be a problem. I'm causing myself to, I'm lighting the fuse on a time bomb. Admit it to yourself. It breaks my heart. I thought so much of you. It breaks my heart, but you're not the perfect person I was looking for. Maybe it's wrong for me to look for a perfect person, but right now in my life, I don't feel I'm ready to compromise. So let's just leave it. I'm not saying anything mean about you. I don't hate you. In fact, I love you. But I don't love everything. This environment, this relationship is not making me feel loved and loving. So whether I love you or not, I just need some time away. Do something different. Need to get over you. And if I can get over you and over my problems with you, maybe we could be in love. But obviously there's a problem in me because I've got all these hot, hard, angry feelings about you. That's a problem in me. It's not something you're doing. You're being yourself. I can't change you. I can't ask you to change. If I'm getting angry, if it's whatever, it's in me. I need to leave. I need to work on me. See what I'm saying? These are really important points, I feel. In chat, we've got about it not being a good fit, being a good person. You've got a very different outlook to what I'm saying. Now listen, I will agree, if you've been married for 20 years and you've got used to each other's imperfections, and what I'm saying is that you can get over that, if it doesn't make you angry, if you can say, oh well, that annoys me, but everything else about this person I love so much, so I'll let that slide, that's okay as well. I'm saying if it makes you angry, or if you want to change them, don't change them. If you can compromise, if you can be compassionate and make allowances, and it doesn't hurt you inside, that's fine. But for me, if I use veganism because it's kind of clear cut, but it actually is, I'm not like that. If someone wants to eat animal flesh, I'm not going to leave them immediately because they're eating I used to eat animal flesh. It's a process. But there are things that I couldn't tolerate. Belief systems, opinions, things that if you want to work on it on your own time and come back to me, fine. But for now, I can't be with you. So different strokes for different folks. Go out there, find your soulmate, whatever it takes, whatever the cost, get married, then take whatever comes your way together. It works. It can work for some people. That can work for some people. I assume you are a male, King Snurgleson. I assume you're a man. Because for a man to say, I know we're going to accept this, I don't care, I think we should accept this as men. For us to say you have to work together and whatever it takes is one thing, but for a woman to put up with that is another. Like, maybe on one side of the coin we don't mind putting up with certain things so it don't bother us as much, but they have to put up with an awful lot more. And that's just me being sexist. I might be wrong. I'm not saying it's a fact, I'm saying it might be wrong, but you don't know how the balance goes. So it's hard. It is certainly a much more traditional idea that you get married younger and then you learn to live with and make allowances and to adapt yourself to your partner, and much more of a modern idea that you don't do that and you look for this perfect person. This game that we're playing has presented us with this concept at the start, so I thought it was important to make this point. I shouldn't tailor this girl or my, this character in this game has decided this is the one, she's the one, and they don't fucking know. They don't fucking know. You'll still argue with things, take out your frustrations on each other, but nothing gets in the way of knowing nobody else was ever going to be a better option. That's possible. That's possible. Although I've had arguments with people that I've been dating, and the things they've said have led me to think, wow, I don't like you. I thought I did, but it turns out what you said, don't like that. I remember once I was dating a girl and I found something really upsetting and I was crying, and she said, real men don't cry, I need a real man. And I thought, right, I'm glad you said that, because I'm never going to speak to you again. I'm gone. I'm glad you said that. It didn't make me go, right, fine, I'll bollocks my way around the house then. I thought, I can't believe that you've internalised those idiot opinions. Like, I am a real man, that's why I'm showing you my feelings. I'm stronger than those men who hide it inside and are too scared to admit who they are. But you don't know that, and you're confused. You're a bit more like Coronation Street, so you need someone a bit more Coronation Street. So, bye-bye. Thanks very much. We had that one where that girl said to me, oh, I bet you love those strippers on the telly, don't you? Oh, I bet you love those strippers. And I said, no, I find them to be slightly distasteful, because it's like, it's demeaning to women. And she said, oh, she got a bit of a cob on because she'd previously worked in a job where she'd been demeaned, and she didn't feel demeaned until I said it, and she can't live in a world where she's being demeaned. So if I live in that world, we can't be together. We have to both think the same thing, and the thing we have to both think for her is that strippers are cool. Well, I don't think that. We can't be together. It's not a question of an argument and oh, we've had a cross, she's on a bad day, I'm on a bad day, but we got over it. It's not that. It's that we had deep down internalized views that are incongruent, and I didn't realize until they came out. When they did, I thought, I can't be with this person. This person is not the kind, compassionate, loyal, the kind of things they're going to teach my son. If we were to have one, I would not want them to teach. We've got different ideas. They can go their way, I'll go mine. So I agree with what you're saying in a way. I agree with what you're saying in a way. I think it is important to persist. Once you've got through those early stages, once you've decided you are right for each other, things might come up that are difficult, and to, persist, to give each other the respect, and space that you deserve to have these discussions and get over them. Yeah, very grown up, very forward thinking. But to sort of say, I don't like this, but I'm just going to deal with it for the rest of my life, I'm not so happy with that. So they're different parts of a spectrum, and I think oh, I've got the same problem with my keyboard. Look, it's not the same problem, I've got the opposite problem actually. I used to use this, the cheap keyboard, every third letter doesn't work, and now I use a Steel Series, like proper pro keyboard. But on this you can see all the letters are slightly spaced apart, and like my big hands, I had to find a keyboard for my big hands where the letters are spaced apart so I don't touch two by mistake. Now on Steel Series keyboard, pro gamer keyboard, pro gamers obviously have smaller fingers than me, because I can fit an entire finger completely covering a key, and I can easily touch two keys at once. I don't want that. It's not my fault, it's what it is. And yeah, I think, like the conversations we're having in chat here are right, they're correct. You're both making good points. And I think King Snow also makes a very good point that I wouldn't have made necessarily, so I think it's important to have that here as well. Not just about the keyboards, but about the people. Yeah, I agree with these things. It's really interesting, isn't it? I'm glad that we're doing this sort of game and we're able to bring out these different ideas. It's almost as well thinking about traditional ideas of religion. You know, in traditional Christian values, you would get married and put up with stuff. You have only got one life. And I'm not saying you're putting up with stuff, of course. Like I said, it was a spectrum. Sometimes you do have to work through problems together to get to the other side, to be stronger. It's impossible for me to know on an individual one-to-one basis what kind of problems anyone's having. I'm talking in generalities, and I guess I'm trying to talk in generalities for people who are about to embark on these journeys, rather than people who have learned things over their lifetimes. Younger people, because I think games like this maybe are aimed at them, and I worry that they might be getting taught bad messages. They're very keen to point out she's not a little girl though, because I think they're worried about the paedophilia aspect of these games. But we're all grown up. It's weird, isn't it, that is, as well as a concept. Look, are you working now? You used to really be into idols, so I bet you went into that kind of work, right? Like, could you imagine in the UK if you said to me, oh, are you working? Because you used to really like Kylie Minogue. You used to really like Ariana Grande. She's after my time. I never watched any of her work. I couldn't even sing you a song by Ariana Grande, but I know she exists. So you really like that. I bet you work with Ariana Grande now. No, of course I don't. Me being like a, lusting pervo over Ariana Grande didn't turn me into a music manager, did it? But apparently so. Yeah, I'm working in an entertainment production office. Enough about me. Do you come to this park a lot, aye? Like I say, I'm assuming you can read. I'm not going to voice act all of their stuff for you, but the main points I'll pick out. So she lives close to this house. Sorry, she lives alone, close to this park. I'm sleeping on the park bench. When I start to make excuses, her eyes harden. She spotted that I live in the park, and I've said that I don't. I'm a tramp. Now we've admitted I'm a tramp. So, top tips, Scott's top tips. If you are talking to a girl or a boy or person of non-denominative gender that you find attractive, it's probably not a good idea to state your occupation as tramp. Even if you are currently in the process of vagrancy, you may want to just say you're between jobs, looking for work, or there are different ways to spin things. I suppose it's weird, isn't it, that I'm suggesting you don't tell the entire truth. There are ways to get into relationships and attract people, and I feel I've had this problem all my life. I can tell a good story, I can spin a good line, I can make something look good. It's like politics, isn't it? For example, I used to work at a really high-end salon when I was training as a junior, but when I finished my first year's apprenticeship, they binned me off and got another apprentice, because what they really wanted is slave labour for a year instead of someone to train. They didn't train me very well. They just used me to mop the floors, to do the colour work. They didn't teach me how to cut hair, so I had to go to a college to cut hair, to learn to cut hair, and then get back into the world of work. And when I finally got into the world of work and was hairdressing, and people said to me, oh, didn't you train at Lawrence Anthony? I would say yes. I started at Lawrence Anthony and saw all of the high-end work, saw all the high standards that I wanted to achieve, but I didn't feel they were giving me enough one-to-one training time, so I decided to go to a college and really get that day in, day out experience on the job. I'd already seen the job, I'd already seen the standards, I already worked in the Savoy restaurant, the high-end restaurant. Now I want to be in the kitchen actually cooking the food every day, not mopping the floor. So I went to a college. So actually I did a different thing to their trainees, which made me better. But you could argue that you didn't stay at that job because they wanted someone different to train, and the person they trained is better because they trained them in-house. And, you know, it's different ways to look at something. So when you're dating, you start, like, give them the spin, don't you? You say what you're doing that's good, or you put a good light on what you're doing. But actually, it's still the truth. I'm still sleeping on the park bench. I'm just not calling myself a tramp. Instead, I'm trying to look at the positive. That's life as well. So I tend to do that when I'm in a dating situation. I tend not to run myself down. You've got some rules. Look, rule 1, completely ignore all media, particularly anything from women's magazines, advice columns, or any online advice. Possibly, although advice, I guess I agree in one way, because I see what you're saying. It's about you and your loved one, not about the rest of the world and what they say. But a lot of the learning I've done, not through women's magazines, but through online learning, and not through strict online learning channels, not through the Open University, but sometimes through YouTube. I've done a lot of learning about psychology and life and feelings and how I should be true to myself. And I worry sometimes if you have rules in a relationship about what you are and aren't allowed to bring into the conversation or bring to the table. You know, it's not for me to make a rule for somebody else. If they really like that online stuff, if they're really into that advice, I might not agree with it. And that's one of those things where I say, hang on, you're the sort of person that goes online and reads online advice from women's magazines and takes it to heart. We're not compatible. It shows me a deeper thought process in you that I don't agree with. So when it comes to teaching our children, you'll be going online and going on magazines and teaching, no thanks. Like, it's that. So there's a balance there, but I do see what your point is there. I do agree. It's not for some online columnist who's trying to be a bit controversial or sell a few articles. It's not for them to tell you how to live your life. I agree with that. Rule 2, make sure you fancy who you choose and they fancy you. Yeah. Pick someone who never breaks their promises, then promise yourselves to each other, never cheat. Good advice. Yeah, that's more than one rule in one there. That's 3 rules. But the fancying, yeah, I agree with that. I think a good example is when you're looking at dating. Firefox, please. I want a picture of dating picture 2 people in the picture. Got caps lock on again, you chuffer. Now, you know when it's just going to bring me stock photography now, the chuffer. Stupid stock photography. Like, sometimes you're on a dating website. This is a good one. This would be it. Like, you might see, I don't bother with dating websites anymore. I did when I was younger, but I can't be arsed with it now. I think you have to meet someone organically, because what's the point in meeting someone online who lives in chuffing wherever? I have to be able to take them out on a chuffing date, don't I? So it's all well and good that you're having a good time up in Scotland, but if you have to drive 90 miles every time we go on a date, it's not going to work, is it? One of us is going to have to move. So, like, anyway, like, you see a picture like this, and like their name is Amy, for example, and you know it's one of those 2 ladies. It could be 2 men, whatever, you know, I'm not being sexist, but you know it's one of those 2 ladies. You don't know which one. That always annoys the fuck out of me, because it's like rude, because you know I'm not going to know, so why have you put that picture in? And the second thing it annoys me is, like, you think to yourself, oh, I hope it's this one, whichever one it is, and then you scroll through and it's not that one, it's the other one. That's an immediate no. She can be as attractive as she likes, but if you put her next to somebody else and I find the other person more attractive, if I'm going to be sat in the bar, and this is a problem for me, it's not necessarily the correct answer, it's just a problem I have. But if I'm sat in a bar and I'm like looking over there at this other person, they look attractive, oh, they sound funny, and then I look back at my partner and I'm like, you know, I'm not into them in that way. That's it, fucked. I have to say that's enough for me. Sorry we can't date anymore, but I just find other people more attractive than you, so I don't say that to them, but I know inside me it's going to be a problem in the long run. I need to have a partner who I idolise in that way, which is funny because I'm saying don't idolise people. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm human, I don't know what the answers are. I'm still single, so I don't know what the answers are, but I've had many relationships and different kinds and with different pressures. And yeah, I definitely have to have somebody who I think is attractive. I'd agree with that. Because then, as you grow, you always see that in them, even if they change a bit, you know, even if you grow old together, you still see that glint in their eye. I'd say it as somebody I'd like to bite. That's the way I see it. It's a bit sexy, you know, a bit of that. I want that, yeah. People who don't break promises, that's hard to know, isn't it? But yes, agreed. And never cheat, agreed. If you feel compelled to cheat, that compulsion, you know, if it's like, oh, I like the look of that saucy madam, anyway, let's get on with this, you know, that's one thing, isn't it? But if it's like, I can't stop thinking about that other person, the way they laugh, the way they smile, and, you know, I have to see them, that's cheat. In my mind, that's cheating. It's not whether you put your into their it's not whether you've done that, it's not whether you've done that, it's not whether you kiss them or not, it's whether in your mind you're thinking about future relationships with someone else and you entertain it, so you go and spend some time with them. And even if the other person would never entertain it, if you're in your mind chasing a different dream, for me that's cheating. So yeah, if I find myself doing that, I'd rather say to somebody, it's not working out for us, and, you know, and accept it. Yeah. 99% of people don't manage what you described. That's true. The dating sites, you can always find a nice guy, but not necessarily a good fit. True. They look interesting how you look, but it's not organic. It's interesting, isn't it? Because I agree that in both ways. Like, in a way, it's good that we've covered that looks thing first. That's the way it goes in real life. If I'm in a bar and it's busy, I'm not going to go up to the girl that I think is not that attractive. I'm going to pick out, just because I'm human, and I look around and I see someone looking attractive, I'm attracted, and I go and talk to them. And they might not be that attractive once I start talking to them, I might bin them off, but I do tend to have a sort of shallow premise at the start. But I don't remember yesterday we were playing on Genshin Impact, and I said I really enjoyed Hu Tao for her personality. Like, that shit comes into it for me. I can't stand someone whose personality I don't like, so, like, they can look any way you want, but it don't matter. I actually am more drawn to people who I get on with in a certain way, so that's true as well. Like, I can't think of my partner as a yeah. I have to think of them as a ooh. That's interesting. Oh, did you? Don't quite know how to say that, but I'm saying it. Right, let's get on. This game's going to take forever. But the premise of this is clearly that this fellow that we are likes this sort of girl, and she now fits this mould, and he's going to continue to mould her, I think. I'm homeless. She smells lightly of citrus. Maybe she can help. She hasn't changed a bit. She's a kind person. I don't want to be a bother. I've exaggerated. I found a new place to live. It's just going to be a few days. It's getting dark. Shouldn't you be getting home? I look away, scratching my cheek, and try and change the topic. What about you? I plan to stay in a cheap hotel over there. We should talk more when you have a day off. I feel guilty, like I'm betraying her concern. And she's gone. Weird. I'm leaving the park in darkness. She spots that I'm lying because I scratched my cheek. I'm skipping through this because, like, nothing's happening. I'm an open book. Do you know what? Hello, spirit levels. Do you know what? I'm starting to think now as well, which is funny, is that I find this in life. I don't expect the people who I like to like me. Maybe that's just because the way life has been for me, but I tend to find, oh, this person, I think they're quite interesting and attractive, or what have you. And then I start talking to them, and I realise they just don't, they're not, like, whatever it is about me, they're not into that. Like, quite often, because I've lived in that town, small town all my life, people have spoken about things, maybe they've heard a rumour or something. If that's happened, I can't, you know, we're going to start from a premise of you think something about me that's not true and it's negative. Like, well, we're fucked then, aren't we? Like, if you're the sort of person that believe those... Remember what I'm saying about if you're the sort of person that... Like, I've met people and they've said, oh, isn't this and that the case? And I've said, no, that's obviously not the case. It's a stupid rumour that you've heard, spread by somebody either who's in direct competition with me as a hairdresser, or, you know, I've done stupid things in my time as a youth, but not that. I think, God, this person just believes all sorts of stupid shit about other people, talks about them behind their back, and is quite prepared to say the rude thing to their face when they meet them even. Do you know what I mean? If I'd met somebody and I'd heard a rumour and then they'd said this, I'd said, oh, I heard you were the one that did this. They'd like, well, that's rude. And I think, God, I thought this person was attractive and kind, and no, they're not. They're not. So, like, that happens to me. But, I don't know, like, you fancy someone and they fancy someone else, and it's like a love triangle thing where you like them, they like someone else likes someone else. It never works, does it? It's quite rare for me, I don't know about the rest of the world, but it's quite rare for me to say, hello, I spotted you across the bar, so I thought you looked really interesting, and I wondered if I could buy you a drink, ask you what you do for a living, and they say, oh, of course you can, that would be lovely. What I do for a living is I'm a curator of an art gallery, and I say, oh, really? Really, are you? Tell me more. And they tell me more, and then they ask me a few questions, and they go, oh, really? Oh, that's great. Do you want my phone number? Oh, yeah, no, that doesn't tend to happen. Quite often the impediment is not how I feel about them, as much as we've started going on this stream about me saying, oh, you should always be true to yourself and all this. I think another problem that maybe more boys have than girls is that, or maybe it's, I don't know, because I'm being gender biased there, and I don't know because I am a boy, not a girl, but you know, maybe certain people think, well, I'd quite like to have a girlfriend, and I'd quite like to do a bit of the old sex, so this one might not be ideal, but I'll go along with it. You know, maybe people think that, I don't know, because I've never been able to think that, and I've never had anyone think that about me. I hope. Maybe by one relationship which I could pick out and say, I don't think she liked me that much, and I don't know why, like, we were together that long if she didn't, but I wish she'd come clean earlier and said it straight away. Interesting thoughts, aren't they, these? Interesting thoughts. And talking about gaming, I won't say this out loud, but these days you can game on your phone, but don't. They're usually pay to win games, and they're not very. Don't. If you get your gaming itch right here, we're playing a game now, which is interesting, isn't it? Interesting that we're framing. Now I've just thought we're framing relationships as a game. Whether they are a game or not in real life is a different story, but we are framing them as a game because this is a game. Do I know a cheap place to stay? She's going to invite me in, obviously, so come on. Ooh! Some artwork now. Now, this is another factor about these sort of games, completely different tangent now, but I find the artwork really intriguing. I find the manga style that's developed from anime, sorry, the anime style which is developed from manga, which is like completely foreign to me, you know, it's Japanese. I had a friend when I was growing up who was like really into this anime and manga to the point where they named their children after characters from mangas. I'm not that heavy into it, and I always thought it was a bit of a reach that, like, it's very easy to be cool, isn't it? Instantaneously cool. Oh, I don't like stuff from around my way. I'm interested in this foreign, exotic, cool thing. Everyone thinks it's cool. It's kung fu. It's cool. But I do find the art style intriguing, and the art style that we've been looking at in Genshin Impact. You know, it's all this big eyes, like the hair is all pointy chunks. It's got its own, definitely got its own style now, hasn't it? These days, anime and manga and that, and it's interesting the features they choose to highlight. It's a very westernized image of beauty as well, isn't it? And they're not Western countries, are they? Japan and China. Japan specifically. She's staying at her house, okay? She says she'll be okay with that. We trust each other. She recognises I'm tired. She smells me. I'm smelly. Now, this is the worst start to a relationship I've ever had. Someone's found me sleeping in the park and I stink. And it turns out they actually know me from way back in our days. How embarrassing. And also, we're starting off, this is another point, right? I don't know, you're talking to each other in chat, that is absolutely fine, don't worry about that. And I know where you're coming from there, King Snurgle. I cared for my nan last couple of years and I only played Hearthstone during that time. I didn't play any other computer games actually. I played 2 computer games and actually that's a really interesting point that you brought up there. And I'm sorry for your loss, of course. We all have to go through these things, don't we? At different times, I'm sure. Maybe not, but look, whatever. Like, I'm sorry for your loss and it's been hard and I recognise what you've been going through. It's interesting you brought that up about not playing games. That I had time for Hearthstone because it was like my little hour at the end of the day once certain jobs have been done, like a decompression hour. But the only other game I played during that time, during the COVID lockdown, was a game called The Outer Wilds, and it was about exploration in space. We're going to play it on stream together at some point, so I don't want to give too much away, but it was a really beautiful game about life and death and quantum and space, eternity and infinite. It's even making me feel emotional now because it's all tied in with those feelings that was going on, I suppose, and I suppose that's why I was so compelled to play it. But I didn't play any other games. It's a good point. It wasn't just that I didn't have the time, because I did have a little bit of time, but I didn't feel in that frame of mind. And after my nan died, and having been her carer, it wasn't. I'm going to say this out loud, and it's going to sound horrible, but I'm going to say it. It wasn't entirely like. How do I explain it? Obviously, it was horrible, but there was like a burden lifted. There was like a honestly, there was a responsibility that I felt, high stress responsibility, because there was COVID going on and everything. Like I was washing the shopping before it came in the house. I was like, creating an airlock at the front door. No one's to come near. Like the stress that I felt. I didn't realise I was just carrying day to day. Suddenly it was gone. And whilst I felt bereaved, I'm saying about me, I'm not saying about you, even though I'm trying to relate this to you, because I don't think it's fair for me to say what you felt, because I don't know. But hopefully you identify with this. Hopefully we all understand this feeling. And it's not wrong. You shouldn't feel guilty about that, because that responsibility, that stress is now relieved. So maybe it's okay to start, playing some games now. I don't know. But interesting that I mirror your feelings there. I mirror your feelings. And yeah, sharing the information about it, don't worry, we do Mental Health Monday every Monday, so it's important to me that we carry each other along by being open about these things, and I really respect King Snurgle Gurgle for mentioning it in chat as well, because the only way that these things it's so weird to me that we're so human, all of us, we're human, and yet none of us really want to admit those human fallacies. I wouldn't have told this girl I was sleeping on the bench. I wouldn't have said I wouldn't have wanted to smell bad. I'd have rather had a wash in a public toilet than admit I hadn't got a shower. And yet I'm a human. What am I so proud about? Why shouldn't I say I was stressed and I was sad and I was upset? When people trolled me on the internet, in another life on a different channel, people trolled me on the internet. I got really angry about it. It was the first time anything like that had happened to me, and maybe I responded to a lot of comments in a like, oh well, fuck you, who do you think you are? Maybe that was wrong, maybe it was right, whatever. It was human, and now I look back on it and think it was a mistake. But I'll admit that I was angry, and I don't think I was wrong in the principle. I think I was right. The people that trolled me were wrong to troll me. They'd got the wrong idea about something else. But my reaction to it, whilst very human, I regret. in a way, things like that. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird, but the best way is to accept things, talk about them in open, honest, public conversation, and hopefully reach people that have that, reach people with ideas so that they can find some sort of strength in them and move forward. So yeah, that's a slightly different conversation, isn't it? But it is important, yeah. She says she's gonna, if I don't let her help me, she's gonna sleep on the streets with me and it'll ruin her life. So I'm now forced to allow her to help me, which is not a good premise to start a relationship. That's another thing I was gonna say. If you're starting, I'm doing a lot of relationship counselling on this one, but it's not really relationship counselling. It's just my ideas, so you don't have to follow them. It's just some ideas. I'm hoping that maybe some people along the way, maybe young people that watch YouTube, and I accept I don't really have a big young crowd watching me, but if someone watches this and thinks a little bit differently one time, if one person gets into a more healthy relationship or out of an unhealthy relationship based on any of these things, that's good. And what I would say is it's not good to start a relationship on an uneven status, insofar as we're all humans, we all have equal status. Yeah, doesn't matter what job you've got, it doesn't matter what accolades you've earned, and it doesn't matter if you're a chuffer and you've been in prison for being a chuffer. We're all human, we've all got hearts, we've all got minds. When I meet you, I give you the benefit of having equal status. You can bring yourself up and down in my estimation, my personal estimation, by your actions and your behaviours, but I'm not going to judge you completely on all of the things you've done in the past. I'm going to allow you, certainly in a relationship context, to show your true colours to me, and I'm going to be open-minded. And that's why I date people of all different, I've ended up, we talked about attractive earlier, I've dated a girl before who I didn't find that attractive, but I liked her personality, and in the end I was totally in love with her, and I did find her attractive. I learned about what was attractive about her. I can't explain it any better than that. At first I would have said, no, I'm not attracted to her, not deeply sexually, I want to bite you, but by the end I kind of was. I'd seen a different side of her, and so the status thing, though, I'm saying, I don't want to date someone who I think is beneath me so that I can help them. That's not a relationship, on equal terms, partners through life. That's somebody that you think less of, and you shouldn't try and fix your partner. Your partner's not a long-term project. They're not a tumble down house that you can put a new roof on, and it's not that. If your partner needs fixing, then maybe we need to, they need to do that, and then you need to reconnect on an equal level. You need to see them as an equal, and you certainly shouldn't see your partner as above you, or telling you what to do, or having the correct ideas where you don't know and stuff like that. That would be a bit of a worry to me as well. So the fact that we're starting on an even status is not necessarily a problem. I can be on a park bench and you can come from the Buckingham Palace, and we can meet on equal terms if you are prepared to treat me as an equal. But if you're telling me that I'm on a park bench and my life is shit, and we can improve that, I perceive that you're not seeing me as an equal. You're perceiving me as lesser than you because I'm on a park bench going through a hard time. That's not somebody's story. If you find yourself in Stratford-upon-Avon and you'd like to try and go on the pool with me, I don't go on the pool anymore. I don't drink, so I find that a bit of a strange one. If I meet someone organically in life, if I'm at a bookshop and there's somebody, looking at the same books as me, and I think, oh, hello, hi, my name's Scott, nice to meet you. I see you looking at the same books. I'll do that, but I'm not going to go in a bar, eye them all up, decide on one, talk to her for an hour, fuck it off, go and talk to the next one. Getting around 10:30 now, so we're going to have to start going down the list. I'm not going to do that anymore. No thanks. But yeah, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting. I'll tell you what, in the long run, we should have some sort of meet-up, shouldn't we? But in the long run, going around looking for relationships with smelly people in parks seems a bit doomed from the start, yes. But see, if she knows me from the past, She recognises me. What should be in her mind, and I was going to say, is a person is not a one moment person. Oh, once you were the fencing champion, I'm not anymore. Once you slept on a park bench, I'm not doing that now. We're a process. Humanity, you yourself, you are a process. You change through your life. You grow. And sadly, we get older and die. But, you know, we're born young, we grow, we change, we learn, we grow. Like, a partner should be an equal on that process. And they should see you as an entire process. Not a finished product. Not a work in progress. Not somebody low status on a park bench. Or even high status with a special job. You're none of those things. You're your heart and your mind, and the job will come and go, and one day you retire. So if you retire, do you suddenly give up being who you are? No, we're all part of this process. And if you see qualities in someone, it doesn't matter if they're on a park bench right now. It doesn't matter if the rest of the world didn't see those qualities. If you see kindness, compassion, loyalty, they're good qualities to see. The park bench is irrelevant. The job will come and go. The park bench, you know, if you're with someone that you, and I'm sure there are people out there like King Snow Gergerson that was saying about this, you know, if you're with someone where you can work through the thick and the thin, the rough and the smooth, and what you have together is the strength, and they see you as that real, complete person, and therefore they're not judging you on the park bench nor the job. You know, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters both the same, if you love the person for who they are and not their status the world tells them, that's the strength. Because the other way around, it doesn't work. And if she's seeing me on this status now and I'm a fixer-upper project, and if I'm dating this girl so I can turn her into an idol, maybe I should just go and fucking date an idol. You know, or maybe I should forget dating and just work with idols. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I should separate those ideas about my project person and my equal partner. Maybe I should segregate those two ideas. And I've found that in the past as well. If someone starts telling you what to do, I mean, God damn it, I've had a mother and a father. I've been told what to do. I don't need a partner that's going to nag at me and explain to me the way they think I should behave. Like, they need somebody else that behaves like that, maybe. Listen, why do this for me? We're friends, but that was ages ago. Now we're strangers, you don't know me. Dating pre-internet was best. You met someone not knowing anything about them. It was challenging, but usually great fun. True that. True that. You were forced to find things out by asking questions. Maybe these days you write off a lot more people than you should. You know, on Tinder, swipe left and right. Maybe I should swipe yes to people indiscriminately because I don't know. Maybe I should be open-minded, but I don't know. I don't really bother with it. I have got Tinder. I've had it in the past, but I don't really bother with it. Like I say, I prefer an organic meeting, and to know that the person that I want to date is going to be around. Like, it's all well and good on the internet. The internet's a big place, but you know, if you can only date once every 3 weeks when they come over from Spain, it's not really, I don't, personally, I know it sounds a bit silly because people are more important than places, but convenience is not the matter, is not the core, but being able to actually see and develop a relationship with someone, being able to actually see them is quite important. Interesting concept. No matter how much time passes, you'll always be the same person. Maybe not. She doesn't know if I've been doing rapes in between the time that she last saw me. She doesn't know that I'm not sleeping on this park bench because of the beatings I dealt to all the people at my workplace. Like, she doesn't know. So it's all right to make assumptions and to see the beauty and heart in people, but also, you know, being open-minded means being open-minded to things not working out. Being open-minded to, you know, people not being who you perceive they are. Being open-minded to any eventuality, and being slightly, I don't want to say guarded, but being grown up enough to not pin all your hopes on someone, and be grown up enough to be cautious enough. Like, not, I don't want to put people off opening up to other people, of course, but also I don't want people to be that naive And it's not up to me. You do what you want. But I hope that people, and I'm specifically thinking about young girls here, because she's saying, come and live at my house. Like, don't be that naive that, you know, people are capable of stuff, aren't they? I'll just say that. So just because I don't, you know, this is someone from my old primary school. They're on a park bench. Of course you can come in my house. I couldn't think of anyone that I have schooled with, primary or secondary, if I saw them out on a street, sleeping on a street. Anyone that's been at anyone I know from my history, I can't think of many people I wouldn't say immediately, come home with me. Like, not sexual, not trying to bonk you, but, you know, I trust you enough to give you a place at my house, you know. But then again, I don't know, do I? You know, how many of my former schoolmates have become career criminals? How many of my former schoolmates have, I don't know, twisted their brains on something and ended up, I don't know. So I might assume something that might be naive. That might be naivety. Interesting you say you'd like to date a Spanish girl. It's it's that thing I was talking about earlier about you might have an idea in your mind about what that might mean, and it might be incongruent with what real down-to-earth Spanish girls are actually like, so you might not, but you don't find that out until you date them, so you have to go through with it. And one Spanish girl might be the same or not the same as another, so it's hard to know. But having these ideas in your head in advance is good, because it gives you an idea of what you're looking for, but also being open-minded enough to say that, you know, I'd like to date a Spanish girl, but it might be that a girl from Moldova is the right one for me, and I just don't know, because I don't know those cultures that well. I've dated people from all over the world. I've had like, when I say relationships, I mean more than 2 weeks, more than just a bonk, with people from I dated a girl who was half Japanese, half Italian, like, so she could speak both languages, like, properly, half Japanese, half Italian. I dated someone who was from Hungary. I've dated a Polish girl. I say dated, I mean they were my girlfriend, partner, like, you know, long term. So I have been open-minded on that front. I've also had liaisons and encounters with more people from around. I could put a few pins in the map, I'll tell you that. And I've not found any one particular. I found so much beauty and interest in different ways and different people. I don't think I'd be able to make a list and say this is my type. I think I'd be happy in lots of different ways, so that's worth saying. Her full-on kindness makes me happy. He's not going to refuse yet. Right. We've got to get on with this game a bit, haven't we? Because we're supposed to be making some choices about her. Now we're roommates. So we've done the date. I'm going to, for an hour and a half, I've been really going deep on dating and relationships. So I'm going to try and veer away from that a little bit now, and let's play the game for a little bit, because it's supposed to be a 2 or 3 hour game, but we haven't even got started. Might be a two-day stream. But look at this. There's a poster in the background there. It's a bit. I wouldn't have that poster up me, but it's noon. I'm hungry. I rushed out without breakfast and I'm starving. This is a business district. I don't have much choice. Shall I splurge on a cafe? No, I've been spending too much. Cup noodles. A sad lunch for a crappy day. Like, it's... What the fuck is this? Miwako, I was going to say, it's weird that there's no characters in the frame, but Miwako's just come in. Nobuyuki. I don't know what that means. Oh, that's my name. It's my name. She's a senior employee. What's with the creepy grin? Oh, I really do work with idols. I really do work in an idol's office. I thought I was just making shit up. Oh, my girlfriend's waiting outside the office. And she can't believe there are still such sweet, simple girls out there these days. My girlfriend. A 2-night stand would have been a victory. I'll tell you what, I've also had dates where this is going to make me sound bad, but it's not bad. It's the truth. So I had this date once. I was dating a girl. How do I say this without spoiling terms of service? I was going out with a girl, and she suggested that her friend join us on a date. So that went well, in a way. At one point, I went down to the kitchen. I was like, fuck this, man. I'm just going to have myself a cigarette and a break. I made myself a cup of tea. I'm sat down in the kitchen having a cigarette. And one of them comes down and says, you coming back upstairs? I'm like, fuck off. Leave me alone. I need a break. Anyway, long story short, I ended up breaking up with the girl that I was with and seeing this new girl, right? And then she didn't want to see me like a boyfriend. I thought we'd have a relationship. No, she didn't want that. Then so that goes down the pan. Stop seeing her as well. So now I'm on my own again, right? And a few weeks later, or maybe a month or so, I'm in a pub having a drink, and this lad comes up to me. It's one of these like busy pub nights. It's loud as a DJ. You know, it's quite busy. And this lad comes up to me. He's doing the talking, but shouting at me. And he's like, "Did you sleep with so and so? Did you sleep with so and so?" Like doing that to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I did. Yeah, but like it all worked out shit because fucking like I did this. Went out on this double date, and I told him the story, and I was like, and I couldn't fucking put up with it. And anyway, she's not bothered with me anymore. She's not bothered with me anymore. We ain't worked out. So I ended up I should have stuck with the first girl, because, do you know what I mean? I should have stuck with the first. Anyway, like just having a chat, like, because I kind of half know this lad, just having a chat. And like, my friend said to me, because I'm not paying attention, but my friend said to me that at one point in the conversation, they could see his little heart break. And they thought he was going to hit, like my friend had to come over and like back me up. I didn't realise. Like nothing happened, but at one point they thought it was going to kick off, and it turned out that was his girlfriend. I didn't know. She hadn't told me. I'd been introduced to her through my girlfriend, but this girl who I'd been dating, 1 night stand, 2 night stand, she got a boyfriend, and I'd met him. And when he'd accused me of sleeping with his girlfriend, I said, yeah, I did, yeah, it was interesting because this is the story. Like, bloody hell, what am I like? I didn't know. So I don't know, like maybe a 2 night stand's not the best thing because, maybe it's best to be in and out, gone. I wouldn't have had that conversation with that lad otherwise, and I didn't want to, put my foot in it, but I did. I didn't literally put my foot in it, I put my in there. Anyway, forget it. Trying to make sure we're staying on the right side of terms of service. Now you're talking about different nationalities. There are different cultures and different nationalities, but humans are humans, and within every culture and nationality you're going to get some people that are more one way and some people that are more another. So I really think we should temper our ideas about exotic partners being a certain way. Like you're going to get bossy people from Albania, and you're going to get meek people from Albania, and you're going to get extroverts and introverts, and what's cultural is not necessarily deep down ingrained human, maybe. And bear in mind, when these other people come from different cultures and start to ingratiate themselves in a different culture, maybe they take on different cultural norms. So I don't know. But it is interesting meeting different people from around the world and experiencing different cultures, I will say that. Here's my girlfriend. She's come to where I work, which is inappropriate. She's got a small box. She's made my lunch. So I'm going to eat my lunch. It's very hard not to misinterpret a cute girl making this kind of gesture. Like, what he's saying there is, this gesture is supposed to be like, oh, she wants to be my girlfriend. Like, I do feel this a little bit at the moment as well, with this, just like, I'm putting myself in the shoes of the character, and I'm like, oh my god, Like, already, like, you've come to where... I've met you once today, and you've come to where I work. Like, back the fuck off. Give me more space. This is already a bit cloying and a bit over the top. And, like, this is going to be weird. You might think I'm being weird, but sometimes, if I know from day one I don't want to turn this into a date, and I want her to get the right idea, I can be a little bit mean. I might take the bento box and give it to somebody else in the office. Say, do you want that? She's brought it in. And she'd like, oh. It's not horrible, it's not awful, but it's like showing her I'm not taking all this stuff. Oh, lovely bento box. Oh, I'll write your name and my name on it and put it in my drawer. Like, no, I'm just being really blasé about it, because I'm not reflecting back to you the signals, the wrong... I don't want you to get crossed wires. I'm not going to throw it straight in the bin. Fuck your bento box. Get out, you bitch. I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to say, oh, thanks, that's really nice. Does anyone want some of this? Because Noro here, my friend, Yuri, whatever her name is. My friend Ai's brought this in. Does anyone want some of this? You know, treat it like... See what I'm saying? I'd try and make that clear without being rude. Thanks, I can't refuse after she went to all the trouble. When she pulled it out, I noticed hers as well, so then... Why don't we eat together? She's twisting me. Don't think she's like, just because she's the innocent, naive and all that. She knows. She's bought 2 lunches. She knows. She's got me under the thumb, hasn't she? She knows how to get me to, like... She knows because the appropriate cultural response is to eat lunch together, so now I have to. And that's where I'd stop. That's where I know it's rude a bit, but that's where I stop and say, look, fuck it. I know it's culturally appropriate for me to do this, but I'm not gonna... Sit down over there then. Miwako's staring at me. She don't look like she's staring at me, they both look like they've got their eyes closed. We make an adorable couple. My girlfriend's lovable. Oh, we're just old friends. She's saying it now. Right, yeah. Ah, you can't tell her that. Huh? Roommates. Oh, so now she thinks we're living together. I step in to explain things before I digs us any deeper. Yeah, I would. I'd lay it right out there. And that's how it is. Do you understand now? Because also, I'll tell you something. Whilst laying it out there might make little I's heart break. Oh, he doesn't really love me. But also, like, it might be hard for her to have the rest of society assuming one thing, and her having to say, I might be, you know, polite to say, oh no, you've got the wrong end of the stick. You know, she is her own person. He seems innocent, but he's still a man. If you let your guard down, he'll eat you alive, she says. So that's like a threat. She trusts me. My missus would have a very thick 10-foot long bungee cord attached to me if she could. Yeah, I think the best balance is where you know what someone's up to, so you allow them to get up to it because you don't mind. Like, how do I don't mean like, you know, cheating or anything like that. I just mean like, you don't need to keep tabs on someone because you know them well. So your assumptions are reasonably correct. Or where do you think they are? They're probably down the pub today. Oh, they are. There you go then. You know what I mean? Like, because you know each other well. It's not wrong to do that. But I don't like people keeping tabs on me and checking my phone, so I don't do it to other people either. Like, when I was in my first relationship, really, like my first serious relationship at the age of like 15, and mobile phones were new. We went from, I remember my girlfriend went from a phone that had Snake, the old Nokia, to like a colour phone. Wow. So I was checking her phone then so I could play on the chuffing phone. But really, like, I did feel compelled and jealous. You know, I did feel compelled to, who's that? Who are you talking to? Who's that texting you? What's this texties? You know, we're learning to use the medium. But I realised very quickly that that's no way to live. And I don't do that. I'd rather not be interested. If I feel compelled and jealous, that's a signal to me that there's something wrong. Not that I should check the phone, but that I'm feeling jealous and compelled to check it. I need to check myself. That's what I feel now. Spirit levels for a hopping chicken. I don't know what's going on about hopping chickens, but I think you're all good. I think you're all good. No, nobody wants to date a chicken. Well, you could be a breast man, couldn't you? You could be a breast man or a leg man. Wadge. Aviophile. Look, get on with it, like, we get it. Okay, she's coming for lunch now. Like, I thought this was going to be a choose your own adventure game. But so far I've not been given any choices. She likes the lunch. I'm just going to skip it. Protect my food. Or retaliate. These are, I've suddenly been given a choice. She wants to try her cooking. So I either protect my food, which I'm not going to do. It says, give me a bite of AI's cooking, right? So I've either got to protect my food or retaliate. What do you think? Retaliate sounds wrong, but it might be a translation error. I'm going to choose, I'm not going to protect my food. I'm quite happy to share it. So if you're going to steal my food, then I'll just help myself to some of yours. Hopefully that's seen as cheeky and playful, because I didn't mean to be rude. You leave your phone out and give you your dating passwords because they get jealous. It'd nice to be trusted. Again, I don't know how it would work because I've not been in that situation, but I feel if someone were to be checking my phone and my things, I'd say, are you sure you want to date me? Because you seem to have, like, you know, concerns, issues and ideas, and if my presence is causing those ideas, those negative feelings to come up inside you, maybe you've got a confused idea about what dating is and should be. You know, maybe you would feel much more healthy without this in your life. So I don't know. I nabbed a croquette. I'm so fun. They both love me. I don't know why they love me. I stink. I haven't had a shower. I can't afford my dinner. But it's not about that, is it? It's about who you are. So, playfully stealing some food. Playfully stealing some food is better than having a job and a shower. So. She's looking around the office. Doesn't anyone work here? She touched a nerve. Covered things somehow, Miyaki says. Oh, it is just us. If I screw up, she'll see through my lies, like with the dorm. I think we just work, it's just us. I think we're a small office. I don't know what the point is there, but, you know, there you go. I thank my luck at first, but then I see a suited man shaking his head at us. I'm from Imagawa Productions. All this bloke is. Apparently I can't keep my feelings under control with this guy. He's a friend of mine. He's well connected to our business. Who is it? Oh, this guy's saying her looks aren't bad if we prettied her up a bit. I see what's happening. So this guy that we can't see that's coming to the office that doesn't really exist that exists, he's eyeing up I, and he thinks she's in our office because we're going to turn her into an idol. She's not. She's only here to have lunch, but look how it's happened. I've said, let's stop checking her out like she's a piece of meat, which is ironic because I work in an office where that's my job. I block his view, which is weird. Like, you can't stop the rest of the world looking at your partner. You can't stop the rest of the world, like, you know, you can't hide somebody behind a burqa or in a box. Like, that's not the purpose of it. Like, they're not yours to hide, are they? That's weird. If you've got those funny feelings about somebody else looking at your partner, maybe you've got funny feelings. Apparently we scouted her. She's saying she'll pass. This guy's annoying me. We need in 6 months, you're going to get the sack if you don't show some results. So the man left. All the fun's gone now. There's an atmosphere. The office is closing in 6 months. What does that mean for us? There's no more covering to be done. I'm going to lay the truth out on the line now. To make it short, our company was acquired by a larger firm. The staff were transferred. So I was kicked out. And the idols go to the other company. So we've got a huge drop in revenue. It's a miracle we're open after all. Do you know what, right? Like, it's been an hour and how long have we been rolling now? An hour, nearly 2 hours. The game hasn't even got started. This is the intro still, and it's mainly because I go yabbling and chabbling on about relationships and such, isn't it? It's mainly because of that. But and it's nice to chat to you and chat and all that. I know that's the point of the stream, but I thought this was going to be like a 2 hour game. I'm thinking we were going to have to maybe, you know, play it in more than one sitting, or just fuck it off and never finish it. But this feels like a really long, drawn-out intro process, doesn't it? Although I don't know about these games, maybe this is the game itself. But we're going to show profit. We all fall silent. No other employees. The girls themselves were unhappy at being left behind. We've got to bring in some money. I get what's going on. This is going to convince I to become an idol, and then she's going to be our project girl, but it's taking a long way around the houses, isn't it? He's going on about his dreams to work in this place. He wants to create an idol. Like, it's the story, isn't it? She was an idol trainee. Now she's getting the idea. This is her having an idea. She's going to do it. She wants to be an idol. She's going to save the office. What? It's not a surprise, is it? And it went to a funny cutscene then. Get on with it, you chuffer. Let me start making some decisions. She's trying to talk her out of it. Marco's talking about being a fashion model. But idols do that too. Sometimes. They also act and they're on TV. They're explaining the concept of what an idol is. She did ballet when she was young. I remember she was good. She might be better at dancing than we thought. She can talk about becoming an idol. Got to have skills to be an idol. We're going to watch her do ballet to see if she's got what it takes to become an idol. That's what's going to happen now. We're in the ballet studio now. I'm going to skip through all of the words. She's practicing. She might be nervous singing for the audience, but she went right for it. We don't get to see it. She must have danced ballet in front of strangers because she's used to it now. So she was good. Okay, deep breaths. She's sweating. She's really something. Okay, got it. It's weird, you just think they just go into the, like, in most games where the premise is... In most games where the premise is you're going to be controlling the idol, it'd be like, oh, she's turned up at your office, get into it. This is like, oh, we've got to see her dancing. We can't be sure. Let's have a chat about it. Oh, I used to do ballet. And then you don't get to see it. Just imagine it. What's the point? Couldn't you just told us? Alright, she thought her dancing was great. She's going to give her a try. She's got a test. I've got to help her do a written test. A training program. Miwoko used to be an idol apparently, and she's going to help to use her experience to help our eye. And I'm going to help. And you got to pass the first 2 tests first before you can worry about the third one. Okay. This is an interesting concept as well, because now it's moving away from... I still don't get this game. She hasn't chased any ghosts, hit anyone with a mallet, or jumped over any big gaps, or landed on bonus numbers. Yeah, it's not a proper game, is it? Although I did make a documentary about video games that you can find on our channel. It's called Indie Game Developers Paradise. Have a watch that. Video games are so much more these days, aren't they? They can be anything they want. They're art pieces, and this is just a completely different take on a game, isn't it? Yeah. And at the moment, I'm finding it quite frustrating that there's no interactivity. There's just skip on, move on, move on. But maybe other people really like that. Maybe it's like better than a film in a way. She's gone in the practice room. I'm going to go and have a look at what they're doing. I mean, I want to make some decisions. She's great at dancing. She's going to learn to sing. Oh, she stops singing when she concentrates on dancing, and so that needs work. We might have to lip sync. She's such a good dancer, it would be a shame to prop her up with lip syncing. I don't want to do it any... She'll get it. She's a good student. Want to get things moving. I'll stay behind and watch her training with a towel in my hand. Oh, bloody hell. I was going to say, what's the towel for, but... Here she is now. Apparently to train as a dancer, you need to remove your clothes, so... There's one for the... I think what they're trying to do here, like, Miyoko's disappeared now and we're on our own, and is she still up for work? I think what they're trying to do is... I don't know about this, right? Is it an upskirt shot? Not quite, she's wearing a pair of knickers, and this is 18 plus in its themes, but I'm assuming it's not going to be actual pornography, you know? Oh, God. Not even soft pornography, you know? These dancers like Ariana Grande are showing you more on YouTube, aren't they? So, but, and she's a cartoon as well. But what I find interesting about it is I think, like, in terms of titillation, sexualization, the person playing it, if you're into this shit, maybe this is supposed to, maybe you're getting your thoughts going. Maybe it's one of these where, you know, back in the day, before they had proper pornography, they used to write stories. And you'd have to read the words and imagine the things happening. You know, maybe it's a bit of that. Maybe this is an imagination cue, and certain people... Obviously not me, but maybe some people, and it's up to them. I'm not casting judgments here, but maybe some people have to stop the game for a minute here and have a little think. Going to teach you some stuff about idols. And idols go on TV, yeah, that's just a tiny part of it. Really, it's about reputation. New idols focus on sales, hosting handshake or signature events, modelling for magazines and taking pictures are really important things. Handshake events are essential because they meet fans. You can't skip it because it's not exciting, you've got to get the fans. And you've got to watch famous idols on videos. I'll show her some videos. I casually scoots in close, and her sweet aroma in my nose sets my whole body thrilling. So it is that, isn't it? It's supposed to be like a imagination cue. Oh, she's got close to you now. Oh, we're watching your phone. And it's mentioning her leotard there. I'm going to skip this. She talks funny, and that's part of her persona. It's effective because people remember you. Of course, if you overdo it, you annoy people. So she's really getting into this, and I've got to focus. I have to focus. No! What's wrong? Did something happen? I've been making funny faces. Do I smell or sweaty? What do I say? She smells really nice, or the breasts are more distracting? I'm just going to say you smell nice. I'm not going to mention, like, that would be, if you said that the breasts are distracting, that's like, even if you do like somebody on that level, at the moment we're in a workplace, and at the moment we're discussing her future career, so both of these are inappropriate, but I'm going to have to go with the least inappropriate one. Yeah, let's skip on from this. It's making me feel uncomfortable. What age group rating is the game? I think it's an 18. I think it's an 18. But, I checked on the internet. 18 because of themes. And I assume it's got themes. Of course it's got themes. It better not have any chuffing anything more than themes. And these aren't even, you know, I think it's acceptable for YouTube streams to discuss certain themes. But not, like, we're not literally, you know, saying certain words, are we? So I think it's okay. But if it becomes not okay, I'll bin it off. Now it's talking about she was, like, learning how to be an idol. So we're going to have a look at her training now. Assignment! Okay, this is her assignment. She's got a written test, and when it's over, we see what technique she's remembered. Well, that's frustrating. I thought we were going to actually do the assignment, but no, she's done it. So there's nothing to do here. Thanks to our help. What does she think of being an idol? Technique and knowledge were never a worry, but this kind of mental aspect can't be taught. She's got to think for herself and use her own words to convince Muako. Good. I helped her learn about it, but it's really fun to make it through and pass and see me happy. She wants to work towards a goal. She's in, she wants to do it. She sees... Okay, I will talk about this thing now. Talks about age group and stuff. They said she's an adult in the game. They're being very clear not to tread in the grounds of paedophilia, aren't they? They're being very clever and clear not to do that. She's an adult. But, you know, I worry about that edge to it. I think it's interesting what they've done there. Is they've said she has to decide to be an idol on her own volition. The character we're being introduced has to want this for herself. She has to want it for herself. We're leading her into it, of course, because I work in the office and she's a professional, but she has to want it for herself. It's like consent, isn't it? It's like they're making sure that our fake character has given her own consent to be part of this process. Consent is an interesting topic, which we're not going to cover in a huge... Obviously, you know, consent is important in other aspects. Maintaining terms of service and everything. We could have a conversation about that and maintain terms of service, I'm sure, in a grown-up way. But that's not what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to say, though, is that it seems through manipulation of context that consent can be... Pressure can be put on that consent, I would say. So, I don't know what pressure she's feeling. I don't know if we've discussed that. I don't know, you know, saying that she understands everything and she's ready to do this, fine. But do you really? Do you really understand that? Just you saying it is one thing, but showing that you understand it is another, so I don't know. But we're going to make her an idol. We're celebrating the fact that she's crossed those first hurdles. And she's now officially an idol. Registered, at least. At least registered as an idol. I mean... Been on for 2 hours. She doesn't dress like someone's grandmother either. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's true. She talks like a baby as well. Yeah. You know, they've definitely... There's a teddy bearing shot there. You know, definitely infantized aspects of her character. And that's clearly... I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't know. But maybe, I think it's clearly part of this whole... going back to... Firefox... And I had AKB48, didn't I? As an example of an idol group. There are lots of idol groups these days. I mean, how many members do you need? And they're all dressed as schoolgirls, aren't they? Are they? I don't know. But yes, agreed. The concept involves some infantilization. It does, doesn't it? I mean, this is them not dressed as children. That's much more of a grown-up look. But it must be accepted. I mean, there's even... I'm sure they've done a video where they are... If I do AKB48 school, like that, I'm sure they've done... There you go, look. There they're all dressed as schoolgirls, literally. So, tiny image. But I'm sure they've done a music video or a thing where they're dressed as schoolgirls. Like, that's not an uncommon trope in this world, is it? So, agreed. It's deliberate. It's not a mistake on their part. And it's a little bit creepy. What we're turning off Firefox. There we go. Back to the game. Where's the sound gone for the game? Did the sound just stop? No, it's back. It's pretty early. I mean, I'll feel this quickly, but I don't want to go on about it and make a whole stream about it, obviously. But I can understand the concept of infantilization is about power, I think, and the like innocence, and maybe like there must be a turning point where, because those pictures of AKB48 were grown-ups, they weren't actual children. There must be a turning point where, like, a young girl becomes a young woman. It's probably at the later end of their school career. I'm thinking about Britney Spears in Toxic now. I think, no, not Toxic. In I'm thinking about this as well now as an example. What was she? I can't remember the name. It is Britney Spears. Oh, there it is. Hit Me Baby One More Time. Oh, that's even worse, isn't it? Hit me. But, like, you know, it's not just... We can't just level this at anime and manga and say, oh, in Japan they like schoolgirls. No. Like, this is our culture. This is Western culture. This is international, maybe. I don't know. what you'd call this these days, but this is our culture for sure. And it's not just modern. Like, it's not like Britney Spears was doing this in 2009, and it wasn't a new thing, was it? So, it's not just, you know, it's quite a normal. I'd say it's been normalised for young girls as they become sexual beings, like start developing their own feelings and hormones and have periods and things, or what have you. You know, I don't want to go too deep into this, do I? But you know, I think it's quite normal that as they go through that phase in their life, that they become sexualized by probably the patriarchal society around them for different reasons. But whilst it is a bit weird and a bit creepy, it's also kind of like so commonplace in our society. She was criticised for it, I suppose, yeah. But, you know, criticising her and putting her on the #1 Billboard chart, showing the video on live and kicking to kids on a Saturday morning, like, you know, there's a little bit of criticism, and then there's a social general celebration. Like, she wasn't admonished for this. This was the making of her. I'm not the arbiter. I'm not the judge. I'm also a man, and you know, when I was younger, Britney Spears was seen to be a sex symbol. What was that? 2009. I was younger. I was probably looking at this and thinking of it being quite sexy. Like, no, I'm not unashamedly saying that. Like, that's the point of it. As a young man, I got my hormones and my feelings and my testicles, and here's the pictures, and there's the dancing, and the and you know, what am I supposed to do? Why are they doing this? Because they want my attention, me, young man, attention. I think that's why they're doing it, isn't it? The people who make these music videos. You know, if we're going to go and say that, if we're going to say that this is a bit creepy and a bit weird, which it kind of is in some ways to us, to other people it's there, like, she's supposed to be a grown-up at the end of the day. If you're 18, you're 18. You know, you can't be a paedophile if she's not a child. Even if you want to dress her up as a child, it's a bit weird, a bit creepy. But to some people, that's their bag. So maybe I shouldn't, like, judge them for their thing. Like, in the same way as I was like, waifu simulator, I'm not into it, but if that's your thing, you know, I'm not going to come around your house and be the thought police and say you can't jerk off over your pillows of pictures of whatever. You know, that's not for me to do, is it? But, like, we're now saying this is like, well, it could be, it's okay for it to be creepy, but this is also creepy then, isn't it? And so is everything around me, and so is my society. And yeah, it is. That's why I find it a bit distasteful. It's funny, isn't it, though, that the way we kind of have double standards that we allow, or when you were 11 in the Bible Belt, a grown man asked my parents for your hand in marriage. So yeah, like, there are other phases, like that's the Bible Belt then. I mean, I don't know where to, you know, go with that to start. I'm not going to, this is not a stream about that, but it's interesting that that idea has come up, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to be playing a pedo simulator, I'm telling you that, and if it turns into that, I'm going to bin it off. She can still go to university as well as training. So now we're heading out. Also, she is, like, whilst it's not completely overt because the words are in the way, she's got this massive pair of boobas that are absolutely bulging out of her jacket. Like, she's quite, I can't say her face has been that sexualized, but her physique has been caricatured, cartoonified to become something like excessive in a way, hasn't it? Like, she's got those huge boobs, tiny slight frame, they're just massive big circles, but But having said that, there are women with big boobs in the world, and also these days, let's put Jordan. Like, she's a good example of it, isn't it? Like Katie Price, Jordan, the model. I say model. She wasn't really like famous for being a model. She was famous for having massive tits. I don't really think much of her. I'm not that enamoured with her or impressed by her, mainly because of her personality, highlighting the fact that she's a fucking dirty pig witch, but coke-addled dirty pig witch. But she's famous for having big tits. Like, that's the main thing with her. She was like, you know, people like looking at the pictures of her big tits. That was her job. I'm not making any comment on it, I'm just saying it exists in our society as well, and I think it's only fair if we bring this game to task on its slightly sexist, slightly, incredibly sexist themes, concepts, depictions. Like, that's the world we live in, so, you know, enjoy it. That's an interesting point as well. Like I said, there are some people with, you know, different frames out there, so I'm not saying that's just this. It just seems to be a feature of this game. But like you say, you know, some ladies like yourself maybe have, you know, bigger boobs, lighter frames, and you didn't go and get a boob job to make it happen. So, like, then society's judging on those standards. It's a huge, complex melting pot, isn't it? That I don't really feel that qualified to comment on. I could just see it there on the screen, so I was saying it. I don't know what they're going on about. They're going to talk about her training. And someone else is going to join them. So I'm going to give her some good news. Dinner's ready. Hamburgers, I'm not into that. Modelling work she's got now as a gig. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird. It's like we go to a different place, a new background. And like, that's all you need to make one of these games. You have a lot of writing to do, but new background, that'll do. Swimsuit. Our first discussion was for street clothes. When we arrived, they added a swimsuit shoot. Not really that comfortable with that myself. Even if we're doing the whole Britney Spears thing. You know, bear in mind, our job in this game is to sell this girl as an idol. So maybe we should do the Britney Spears thing. Right? But, TMI is short for too much information. We're supposed to be doing the Britney Spears thing, aren't we, in this game? But I would still warrant that it's probably not a good idea to... Like, you want there to be some mystique. You want there to be... Like, you don't want to... If you show someone everything, they don't have to buy into it to do you know what I mean? You want them to buy the album sleeves, so they have to open it up to see you. Anyway, you know what I mean? You don't want to go overdoing it straight away. Build up to it. Here's another example. I've just got to say this now because it's in my head, but I don't really want to go over it too much. But I'm sure there'll be videos of her. Belle Delphine. She was like the most popular person on the internet for a while. Her career died, apparently. Her career died. Well, it didn't die. What happened was Belle Delphine presented herself in a sexualized way to garner all this attention. You know, she did this idol thing that we're talking about. She projected herself as a sexual... Google Delphine. Images. She protects, like, not full-on sex. And she did things that would guarantee attention on YouTube. Here she ate a picture of PewDiePie being popular. Now you've linked yourself with PewDiePie in a video. She did also creepy, strange things, like there's one with her with the octopus, which is not vegan and is horrible. But she's like bathing with an octopus. People want to see her in the bath, but she's also got an octopus. It's weird and creepy and weird. But like, so it's distinctive and standout. Look, there's a million pictures of it on the internet, isn't there? Because, like, you know, sex girl, octopus, not showing us her fanny and her tits, like not doing the sex, but being cute. Look there, she's in a fridge. That's really dangerous. Don't get in fridges, kids. Kids die in fridges. Kids actually, like, that's so irresponsible to take a photograph like that. Kids die in fridges, because some fridges have locks on them. Refrigerator death is suffocation by refrigeration, and it was such a problem that we had to have advertising, marketing, teaching people not to die in fridges, because they're on junk sites and kids go playing in them. Kids go playing in an old fridge and they die. So that happens. So responsible people who understand the world would never like put a photograph of themselves in a fridge, especially if they're marketing themselves to that younger under 18s titillation generation. Like, that's irresponsible, horribly irresponsible. But she doesn't give a shit about shit like that, does she? Because what she was interested in is making sure that people wanted to fuck her, being a bit weird on the internet, being nearly naked, making sure people want to fuck her, getting really into that. Like, then what she did was she did the bathwater. So she was selling gamer girl bathwater, and of course it wasn't just the fact that she was selling her bathwater. Oh fucking hell, that's a story. But the people bought it and did videos of it, and look, he's drinking it. Oh my god. And now he's desperate to cloy off her attention and fame and make a video about it, but she's also using his desperation, because that's selling her. He's marketing her, she's marketing him. That, like, they're all involved in the marketing together now. They didn't come up with a story together. She sold the bathwater independently and people got involved and did videos. Again, that itself got in the news. You know, that strange story, that strange concept even got in the news. So now we're talking about reject all. Shouldn't be really looking at the sun because it's rubbish, but now we're looking at somebody, you know, going all the way to the edge and it making the actual mainstream news. And what she did is that after she made mainstream news and gathered all these eyes on her, she went one step further than bathwater, did pornography and an OnlyFans. Like, she sold out. She sold out, yes, but like at the peak of her fame, at the peak of this marketing exercise, she sold her product for the highest price at the biggest peak. Like, it was like a whole strategy. She created what you might call an exit strategy, because once she's done that, pornography and OnlyFans and stuff, that's crossing a certain line that, you know, you can no longer be Britney Spears doing your dance and sticking your tongue out and still being fairly innocent. Now you're actually a pornographer and you've stepped over that line. So her career died in a way. In another way, everyone's career is limited if they run this sort of it's not a con job, but, you know, this sort of grift. If this is your grift, your career is limited. There are a number of reasons why. So it's best to cash out at the very top and do the porn that everyone's so fucking desperate to see and will pay for, make your millions and walk away. And that's what she did. She's still come back every now and then to try and make more money, but it's never going to be the same. There's now, like, the bubble is burst. You've seen her fanny. There's another new girl on the block next month. She'll get older. There will always be people who remember her fondly for certain reasons, but she either occupies a different place in the market and continues, but she can never, like, you can't always be the pin-up girl. You just can't. And if you burst that bubble and go slightly too far, it seems that everyone wants to fuck you on the way up, but when they see you being fucked, they lose interest over time. Do you know what I'm saying? It loses that exotic titillation. Will she, won't she? Oh, I hope she. Oh, did you see that there? She lifted her skirt. And it turns into just like, oh, I've seen it all the way inside there. I don't need to see that again. So that's Belle Delphine. That's the story of Belle Delphine. I'm not the first person on the internet to talk about it, of course. You know, but what we're doing, similar to this, isn't it? When we arrived, they added a swimsuit shoot. So I don't know if we need to go straight into swimsuit. You've never had to act like that to get attention from a fella. Belle Delphine was doing something different. She was not just attracting attention, she was marketing herself as the product. In today's media world, she realised that OnlyFans... I don't just start an OnlyFans and get £1 million. That doesn't work. First of all, you have to build up yourself to be something unobtainable. Someone that doesn't do OnlyFans, someone that's softcore, that titillates, that they really want to see you do. You know when the people are asking, can you send me your pictures of your feet? Or the same with the ASMR, I'm not going to go deep into that again now, but, you know, like, to tread that line of being perceived to be innocent so people can corrupt you, and then when you are therefore corrupted, they get extra titillation out of it. No one wants to see some dirty old slapper showing a minge, day one. You have to start off day one as innocent little girl, and you build up to dirty old slapper showing a minge. In the end of it, and this is pertinent as well, Katie Price. What Katie Price has had to do is she's had to sell other things. She's had to sell her relationship with her children. I mean, she's bankrupt now. But she's had to sell her relationship with... This is Jordan, the sexy model. Everyone wanted to see her boobs. Instead now, she has to sell her relationship with her disabled son. She has to sell her relationship with her children, like the concepts, stories. Because no one wants to see her fucking minge anymore. No one's interested in her minge. In her horrible feet. No one wants her feet pics anymore. You know? No one's interested. She has to keep herself relevant by selling stories about her private life to the newspapers. And if she ain't got any stories, she better create some. She better go on a coke binge or roll her car, or we can get her disabled son up into the media again. That's always good for her. You know, that's always... She's put her disabled son into a home now. So that's good for that's good for... Harvey's blind. He's like mentally challenged. Like, he's on the autistic spectrum. Like, he's a bit of a big chuffer as well. He's not a little lad. Big chuffer. He has to live in a home now. He has to live, like, he spends his life in like a big room in a home that you know, like a hospital home thing. And because she's raised him and ended up like that, that's her story. Katie Price. Harvey. Because that's her story. Look now, oh look, books. Books. Not just one book, like multiple books. Documentaries on the telly. Thank God she's got that, because she's a talentless piece of shit otherwise, isn't she? But this is keeping her in the public eye. Otherwise, no one really would give a shit, would they, about what shoes she's fucking wearing. It's ironic, isn't it? But as much as these are the images she wants the world to see, because it sells an image of her plastic face, and Harvey's happy. Is he happy? I don't know. Did she speak to him today? I don't know. He's in the home. I only see the media image. I don't know what really goes on in their relationship, but like, that's part of her media sales grift. That's her life. So it doesn't last forever, does it? Being Delphine doesn't last forever. Nobody wants to see your fucking minge, do they? Like, nobody wants to see your fucking minge anymore. In fact, they'd rather you just fucked off and left us all alone. Most people would rather she just fucked off and left us all alone. Because if you do Katie Price, car crash, cocaine, for example, if you look for that, then these are images of the car she rolled while she was high on coke. That could have killed someone. And she got away with it. She didn't go to prison. Like, if I roll my car, if I go out now, drive and get coked up, yeah, if I go and get coked up and roll my car, right, no one's going to be sympathetic to me. No one's going to say, oh, poor you. As a family, we're concerned about your well-being and your mental health. Like, they're not going to say that to me. They're going to say, welcome to the prison. You get put in prison for that. If the police come and find you at the side of the road and you are coked off your nut, going, not just coked off your nut, but 2 in the morning going to buy more coke, drunk and coked up and going to buy more coke, then, you know, I'm sure your disabled son is probably getting the finest treatment, isn't he? No, he's not. Obviously, you're coked up and you just need him for money, but you get arrested for drunk drug drive collision and the police let you off. They don't prosecute you for drug driving. It's no immediate sentence. That makes me angry, if anything. I don't want to see you minge. I just wish you'd fuck off. Poor Harvey in the home. Doesn't know why he's in the home, does he? His mum can't look after him. Too busy getting fucked up on cocaine and crashing her car. This might be an 18+ stream today. It might. These are the facts of life. I don't put it in the newspaper. I don't drive the car. I'm not snorting the coke. 50% of the population's getting cheap coke from the chuffing Albanian drug dealers that run the cartels coming in from... I'm not doing that. I'm not buying those cheap bags. Fucking idiots, mate. Flipping idiots. You're chatting in chat. You're fine. So, they've added a swimsuit shoot. I just want to see if we've got that 4 Lines quote on YouTube as well, because it's making me think of this now. Like, there are times where I feel like I would rather be in a world of religious extremism. I'm joking, of course. I'm joking. Absolutely joking. But, you know, at the start of the broadcast today I was saying, like, if a woman wears a burqa, you're forced to judge her on her personality, because you can't go, ooh, I like you for your tits. Like, you got to line up. You know, let's say you do a job interview, right? You're doing job interviews and women come to the table and I, as a man, poor, nasty, horrible man with my fucking hormones and my patriarchy, I start judging them on how they look, don't I? Can't help it. I've got eyes. They've dressed up in whatever way they want. Some of them, like Katie Price, might come with her boobs. I might be, oh, hello. Might forget that she's rolled her car and done all the cocaine and not looking after a disabled son, probably. I might forget that and start thinking about the boobs. So imagine you do a job interview and instead of having to worry about what you look like, and this goes for men as well, I have to wear a suit, I have to do my hair. Imagine, forget that. You do the job interview behind a screen or something and they just treat you like a person. Again, discrimination for race, discrimination for gender, any of that. What if they just hear your answers to the questions and judge you on your thoughts and your, you know, potential behaviours rather than how you look? Isn't that something we strive for in society? Isn't that what we want? We do want that equal society. I don't want discrimination. I want to be treated equally. I want women to be treated equally. I want people of other chuffing ethnicities to be treated equally. Well, if we all wore a burqa, all of us, would have to treat each other equally based on personality, because you couldn't judge. You could judge height. You've still got height. But other than that, you can't discriminate. So that's a funny thing, isn't it? Because the idea of the burqa is that it's like discriminatory against women because they have to wear this fucking thing and they can't be themselves and wear what they want. I get that. I'm not saying we should all wear burqas. I'm just saying, isn't it an interesting idea to think about that the thing that we think of as being most discriminatory, hold you down, might be the opposite. And this game we're playing, Kirakira All-Stars, maybe making women dress up in skimpy clothes to be an idol. Maybe that's I don't know. Maybe that's worse than wearing a burqa. Which side are we on here? Sometimes I think about our world, our Western world, and how it's perceived by the religious extremists in Afghanistan. And I think, well, I can see where they're coming from. 4 lions. Let's just put 4 lions and let's see what comes up. See if I can find the speeches. This is a film about religious extremism from Afghanistan, and you know those sort of terrorists, and how they get wrapped up in it, and how they might be idiots really, and they get wrapped up in something stupid. It's a comedy. It's a comedy. But there are some quotes in 4 Lions that are like, they exemplify what I'm trying to say here really. 4 Lions, McDonald, a Big Mac. It's like he just had a Big Mac. You know, maybe I can't find the exact scene I'm looking for. So, in it, one of the characters goes on a rant against Western society. And he's like, you know, you with your fucking... It's just like you've just had a Big Mac in your fucking muck Disney World. And, you know, you don't give a shit about anyone else in the world. And, like, he goes on about the things that he finds to be distasteful about the West. Because they're coming from a more traditional Islamic perspective of more... what's the word? And it's a bit like Victorian times, isn't it? It's a bit more of a prudish sort of... Still backwards, you know. I'm not saying we should do that. I'm not saying we should keep our women indoors and don't let them talk. You know, not that. But it's funny the way a different culture, and I certainly think that certain cultures around the world, I'm not going to name any names or point any fingers, but I will say there are certain places in the world that are not as developed as other countries. There are other countries that are more developed in economic terms, and with that development comes different ideas and more spread of different ideas, and the more medieval practices, for example stoning someone to death, might be seen as very medieval, and that still goes on in certain countries, Afghanistan, but they have a more medieval society. They're not as advanced, so maybe, you know, there's a crossover there. So, you know, I don't know how to quite make that as a point, but I'm not saying forgive people for doing horrible religious extremism, but what I am saying is they are not as far down the line. Like in medieval Britain, it was still pretty backward, wasn't it? Women had to stay at home. In Victorian Britain, it was backward. Like it only takes a couple of 100 years for things to change, maybe. So maybe in other countries they might change, but they're not there yet. Maybe that's something to do with it. I don't know. Feel committed to put something from 4 Lions on, even though, you know, I don't want to copyright strike the channel again, but, you know, I don't want to get us done for copyright.
Alright lads, this is it. This is it, boys. I've spoken to the Emir.
How did you do that?
Email Dropbox and the children's instant messaging site. Party puffing.
I've been on that.
Good, Reg.
Proper good.
Do we have to be puffers as well?
Yeah, I'll give you your username and passwords after this meeting.
I'm not sure.
It's a bit quiet, isn't it?
That bolts. Then have me nicking links display.
Right, lads, think of it bigger than a chemist, right? Not blowing the guts out over a bunch of tampons and cotton buds.
It's a really funny film if you ever have a chance to watch 4 Lions. It deals with very difficult themes, but it's really funny as well.
breaks anti-surveillance protocol. We shouldn't be back here till tomorrow.
The protocol is that you were supposed to stay here and guard the flat, Barry, because there's a good chance of you are being monitored.
Is that an Islamic argument, brother? I only listen to Islamic arguments.
That was
Is that an Islamic argument? There's a good chance you're being monitored. You've got to stay here and mind the flat. Is that an Islamic argument, brother? I only listen to Islamic arguments.
I threw it, Barry. I had it 10 years that was to it. I should have been there.
Oh, it's such a good film. It talks with such class and clarity about such difficult topics. But yeah, that's what we're doing today, hopefully, talking about, what's the name of that film? That's Four Lions, it's called. Four Lions. It's a very good film. Yeah, God, I'm getting really into it today, aren't I? Well, we've done now 2.5 hours of this, and we still haven't made any decisions about her being an idol, except if I get the chance here, I'm going to say no swimsuit. No, we'll have normal photographs first. No swimsuits, please. I think we're about to get a swimsuit shot. There you go. And she feels bad about it. So, I don't want to make her do things that she feels bad about. Apparently she's fine. She took off the jacket. She's nervous and embarrassed. I'm telling them that she's been unwell, she can shoot later. She says she's sorry, she sits in a chair. She knows she has to do it, it's work, but she shouldn't be shy about it. This is the point. No. Stop now. If you feel uncomfortable, don't do it. And this language here, don't be so hard on yourself, it's your first time, it's natural to be nervous. That's clearly allegorical for sexuality and like virginity, isn't it? I don't like it. I feel uncomfortable now. It's not finished yet, relax a minute. He's like, no, these are the wrong messages. These are the wrong messages, I'm going to skip through. If someone feels uncomfortable, you stop. Like, even when I was doing someone's fucking hair, if they feel uncomfortable, you stop. Like, you explain. The problem here, and I'm going to deal with this one, and then we're going to maybe play the game another day. I'll deal with this one, and then we'll play the game another day. Hello, historian. You've got nice biceps, but that sounds strange. It's interesting. Everyone finds different qualities attractive and not attractive for different people. So maybe some people like this look, maybe some people like another look. Maybe you like the way you look and are happy with it, which is good, and that's the main thing. And then you find someone who appreciates the same sense of aesthetic as you have, and then they like the way you look. But nobody, I'm very clear to say this on stream, nobody should think, oh, I don't look in the mirror and see what I like. You know, you can maybe, I don't know how to quite explain this body image thing. What I'm saying is what I'm trying to say is there's no one clear, this is the standard of body image we should aspire to, because everyone has different tastes, and you might not like what you see in the mirror sometimes even because of your tastes, but someone still might like what you see in the mirror, they might like it. And since you have to look at your partner and they have to look at you, the main thing is that they like what they're looking at, I suppose. I don't know, but we shouldn't, as humans generally, be looking to adapt and change our physiques necessarily. Obviously enhance, go to the gym, be healthy, yeah, put on a little bit of makeup, yeah, but don't wear a mask and fake up yourself. For me, I'm not into that. If you have to do that, I'd rather just find someone who looks that way anyway, so you don't have to fake yourself up. You find someone who likes the way you are for you. Maybe that's my feelings on it. That's my feelings on it. This here used to be almost anorexic. Yeah, I tell you what, we have done an episode. I will highlight this here now at this juncture. Firefox. You can find us. You're on YouTube now watching our channel. I'm not saying you have to do this historian. I'm saying for anyone who's watching for whom this might be a pertinent point. Anytime. This video is going to be on YouTube for a long time, so maybe someone will watch this, find this, and it will help them in some way. On our channel, We've got these other channels down the bottom here that we make. Mental Health Monday. If you check this one, videos. We've done eating disorders. We haven't done body image. Maybe we should do body image specifically as well. That's a good, we put that on the list. But we've done eating disorders, an hour and 43 minutes, eating disorders explained, talking all about them, talking all about motivations and feelings. So we've got a video on that. So if anyone's watching this now and thinking that's a pertinent topic, we're worried. We're putting the information out there for people. It's there for people to find. Mental Health Monday on our channel. So you can find that. You can find the raw version and you can find the edited version on Mental Health Monday. So that's there. I want to kind of finish this stream today because we've been going for like nearly 3 hours now, and I like to keep them reasonably concise. But I want to finish by talking about this issue and then talking with you about whatever you want to talk about, and let it roll a little bit and see how we go. You've got a dedicated unit in your hospital for eating disorders. Wow. And that's a children's hospital, so that is incredible worry, isn't it? Yeah. Since we covered eating disorders on a different video, I'll leave that conversation there, but I will say we should cover body image as well as a companion piece for it. But I wanted to alight on this here. She's now ready. She was feeling uncomfortable and she's now ready. What I wanted to say, and I want to make it clear, I'm going to use hairdressing as an analogy, even though we could analogize with other things, couldn't we? But we want to keep it at least, 13 plus on this channel, at least PG. Do you know what I mean? At least I don't want YouTube to turn the video off because I've been banging on about sex. So what I'm going to say is about hairdressing, but it could be allegorical for other things. You use your own imagination. But you want people to feel comfortable. You want someone to feel that they are aware of what is happening and not pressured into something. You want them to be able to say, I don't feel comfortable. You want them to, in order to do that, for them to have the confidence to say these things, you need to give them that confidence. So you need to make sure that you say to them, are you comfortable? You can always say at any time anything you feel. I might be about to cut your hair, but if you want me to stop cutting your hair, all you have to do is just put your hand in the air or just say, I don't feel comfortable with this. I'll put the comb down. Never, you want them to know that they should feel confident to speak out in front of you before you go ahead and start cutting their hair. You want to make sure that they know what the process is going to be like. Not every little in and out, maybe. Not every little movement of the comb needs to be described. But if we're going to be cutting your hair, I'm probably going to wash your hair. Are you okay with having your hair washed? Do you like that? And then after that, I'm going to be combing it through. I'm going to be using the scissors. Eventually, I'll get the hairdryer out if you're lucky. Give you a nice blow dry with the brushes. Do you mind having your hair pulled when I'm drying your brushes? Because if you feel like it's pulling too much, you can always just say stop, and I'll give you the hairdryer and you can brush your own chuffing hair. Do you know what I mean? We need to have that conversation before I start pulling your hair, because if suddenly you're having your hair dried, I'm sure we've all been in a situation in our lives where we feel like, oh, I didn't realise it was going to be quite like this, and now it's happening. Do I say, can you stop this now? Because it's already happening. That exact process that I'm describing happens in hairdressing. I know that I've had clients and it might be a wash or a colour treatment or a, whatever it is, and they thought they knew what was about to happen, and then it turned out I do 2 shampoos and I use a menthol shampoo and a colour shampoo, and it's a little bit different to the way they thought. Oh, I didn't realise I was going to put my head backwards in the basin. I thought I was going to put my head forwards in the basin. Silly thing to think, isn't it? But, some people think different things. So maybe that person doesn't say that and just sits backwards and then just goes with it. So as a hairdresser, that's not so important, is it? Because they're only having their hair washed. But with other things you can allegorically, think about, I think it is fair and important, and both sides of the coin. It's not just me doing things to you, is it? In the hairdressing sense, yes, it is. But we might be in a situation where I'm having my hair cut at the same time as I'm cutting yours, and you want to explain to me how you're going to be combing it, and that you use a different massage technique to me. And do you know what I mean? A conversation beforehand where everyone knows. It doesn't have to be so detailed it gets silly and embarrassing, But the most important thing is that you should be able to feel, and this does go for your haircut as well. This is for your haircut and also for other allegorical things. But both parties should be in a position to say, hang on, wait a minute. Even if I just need to go to the bathroom, or I want to get a drink, or I didn't know you were going to be doing that. Like, you need to be confident with whoever you are to say what you feel. And if you're not, maybe you shouldn't be having your hair cut. If you're not confident in being able to stop the situation for any reason, if you're not confident in doing it, if you think you might end up just keeping your mouth shut and things are happening, maybe you shouldn't be having the things happen. You've still got time to build up to whatever things. You've still got time to, you know, maybe just trim my fringe today. Maybe just trim my fringe. Maybe that's all. Maybe I'll come back next week for the bigger cut. Maybe just trim my fringe today. Maybe you don't have to do it all in one. If you don't feel comfortable with it, the main point I'm saying here, if you don't feel comfortable with something, feel confident to say no, to say stop, to say I don't feel comfortable. And if you don't think you're going to be able and feel comfortable to even say that, try not to get in that situation. Try and stay well away from it. Yeah, you could be nervous about things. You know, before I go on stage to play in my band, I get nervous. I don't go on stage to play in my band anymore. They kick me out. But before I get into, you know, this was when I was 16 even, like, you know, get nervous. You get nervous, but you still want to do it, so you're going to do it. It's exciting, it's fun. Yeah, okay, that. But nervous, scared, don't want to do it, don't want to be here, wish I wasn't, like, shouldn't be. I'll put the guitar down and I'll not play the gig tonight. You know what I mean? There's differences there, there's differences. So, is someone moderating my comments? No. No, historian. Nobody is moderating my comments. I've got an automatic moderator on. So YouTube provides like automatic moderation. So if you were to type a link to a website, it would not let it happen. Or if you were to write, you know, explicit swear words and things, that wouldn't be allowed. But their disappearing is not, like, you can see I'm sat here, look, hands up on my head, I'm not doing anything. So either the auto moderator is so harsh that it thinks, usually it would ask me, it would say, this word is not allowed, will you allow this comment? And I have to press allow or not. So I'm not notified here of anything happening in the comments. I'm not moderating it. I'm not seeing anything disappearing. But I have noticed as well on other YouTube channels, people making the same comment. My comments are disappearing. Where are my comments? Have you deleted my comments? All across YouTube at the moment. So I think it might be something to do with YouTube. So you said about cutting waist length hair to the bone. I've done that. Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't have moderated that, and I don't know why YouTube would have. So that's beyond me. I'm certainly not moderating. I'm certainly happy to have an open, free and frank discussion in comments, and anything that, like I say, if the YouTube automatic moderator will let you type the word, I'm happy to have it come up here. Just asking, yeah, no worries. I'm happy to explain as well, because I see it as a phenomenon on YouTube as well at the moment. I'm a bit worried that, certainly with the variety, and because we have a variety of content on our channel, we bring a lot of different people here. I don't want people to think that I'm somehow, I will curate it. If someone left a really rude comment, I'll delete it. Why not? I don't want people coming to the channel and reading horrible things. And if someone said, I've considered deleting that comment I got today, that I'm hopping on Martin's bandwagon because he's got far more subs than me and I'm desperate for likes and subs. Now, I find that a bit of a rude thing to say on my comments. In fact, I will delete that one right now. Why not? Just hide user from channel. They can still watch the channel, but their comments can't be seen anymore, because why would I want them direct? I mean, that's not what I'm doing. They're being mean to me, so bin that off maybe. But in general, you know, differences of opinion, stuff like that, that's what we're here for. We want conversation and interesting discussion, not debate where we get angry and argue, but discussion where we see different sides of the opinions. Yeah, I'm open to that. So I won't be moderating. The only thing and I don't even moderate trolls. You know, someone came in chat and kept being mean to me. I'll talk to them and hopefully explain to them why they look silly and how they're damaging their own reputation in public, and maybe we can move forward. And, you know, in a year's time, maybe they might be one of my favourite people in chat, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt initially. So I'm definitely not moderating comments like that, no. I called the girl in the cartoon bug-eyed. That's obviously offensive. You type beware. No, yeah, see, I don't know why that... And you've typed it there and it's come through. So I don't know. Maybe it's just a glitch. I'm definitely not. You know... You've typed a few funny comments. They appear in YouTube, but not on the comments he sees. That's interesting as well, because, yeah, I've got a second window here where I've got the comments on a window. Like, it's not just in the YouTube box, it's in its own window. And, maybe that. And I also noticed YouTube is supposed to save the comments and show you them on the replay of the video. But sometimes it just fucking doesn't. Sometimes it has live chat replay and I can go through and look at it, and sometimes it just doesn't. So now I've got it above my head on the screen so that it's there on the screen so that people can see it in the video even if the live chat replay isn't recorded. I'm doing my best. Yeah. And yeah, I've made my point there, haven't I? Don't be pressured. She should not have taken her clothes off. She should not have taken her jacket off because she felt uncomfortable. She didn't have to push through and do it anyway. She should have read her own discomfort as an indicator and, you know, been confident enough in her own self to say, I don't want to do this. I'm not ready to do this. Even if she wants to be an idol, even if idols take their clothes off, and one day she does. Not today. Not today. And I should have perceived that in her. If I'm going to be a manager, it's supposed to be a boyfriend, I think, but if I'm supposed to be a manager or a boyfriend or whatever, her friend, I should be able to be sensitive enough to read her feelings. I mean, she said it explicitly. She said, I don't feel comfortable. But, you know, I should be, even if she doesn't say it, I should be able to say, are you sure you feel comfortable? I just want you to be able to know that you can tell me either way and we don't have to do this. And she might really feel comfortable and confident, say, no, shut up, you idiot, I feel confident. Way! Fine, okay, I'm glad I asked, though. I'm glad I asked. Don't be such a worrier. All right. You know, I'm glad I asked, though. You need people to have that space and time to do that. And so, yeah, I don't feel comfortable now with this game, even. We can come back to it. We've done 2.5 hours, 3 hours of it. It's supposed to be a 3 or 4 hour game. You're supposed to discover whether she's successful or not based on your choices. But I'm unable to choose the choices I feel comfortable with choosing. She had to take her clothes off. And obviously, I'll tell you something, I'm on the internet, so I could just be faking this. I could be just, you know, behind the scenes, I could be like, yeah, she took her clothes off, love it. But really, I'm not. This is my honest and unseen reaction to this. I might just be playing to the audience, oh, women don't want you to be a sexist these days, don't say anything sexist, but, you know, the mask would slip, wouldn't it? And sometimes, I've told you, for facts here today, I've told you, I've been the young man who has been titillated. I've watched Britney Spears. I've seen the pornography on the internet. You know, I'm only human, but this doesn't quite do it for me. Instead, this makes me feel uncomfortable. And it's mainly the messages that are being portrayed, and I think, bloody hell, because this isn't a real person doing this. There's no woman here saying these things. This is somebody else's idea, who wrote the game. Now we have to find out this. And the game is called... What am I? I'm an idol. Idol. This is this. It's on the Nintendo, bear in mind. I've got this game on the Nintendo Switch. Bear that in mind. You know, I'm a big fan of Nintendo. I'll say this quickly as well. Nintendo have done a very good job over the years of curating their platform, not allowing cross-platform conversation on the voice box. When everyone was on Call of Duty when I was like 18. No, they weren't on Call of Duty when I was 18. I think it took 3 more years before that happened, when I was in my 20s. When everyone was on Call of Duty, they were talking to each other on their headsets, saying, fuck you, fuck your mama, you know, all this rude stuff to each other. Nintendo didn't allow that on their Nintendo systems. No voice chat, no native voice chat. And that's good. Everyone complains, oh, why can't we voice chat on Mario Kart? Because you don't want to have some teenager saying rude things to your child in their bedroom through the voice chat. By not having it, you completely remove any issue. There's no worry. There could be no voice chat. So Xbox, more teenagers saying rude things to each other on Call of Duty. You know, it's quite common. Didn't happen on Nintendo. They curated their platform very carefully. And the same thing happened with their games. They were very selective over who could and couldn't publish on the Nintendo Switch. But recently, they've been more open-minded, and they've allowed a lot more publishers to produce, because it's on a online store. There's no cartridges. They're just on the online store. There's a lot more stuff on the Switch now, and this is available on the Switch. Some of the Switch games are still of that feeling that I get from Nintendo, very family oriented, but some are not now. Some are much more grown up. You can get even more grown up themes in games like Skyrim than this, you know. But Skyrim is also a bit like Game of Thrones, so if you think your teenagers are alright watching Game of Thrones, they're alright playing Skyrim. But they can, you know, of their own volition, get involved in slightly more adult themes in that game, but it's a fantasy game. This is a different kind of fantasy entirely. So they're funny ideas that are worth bringing up. It's on a Nintendo. But this is this game on the Nintendo, and what I want to do is find out who wrote it. So, Moby Games, is this their publisher or is this their... Moby Games is like a website that talks about games. It's giving me some details though. Published by Sushi Soft, developed by Sushi Soft. Producer, director, graphics, scenario, music. So I'm guessing scenario is writer. Like the director, the producer's more money-oriented producer. They get the, you know, organise the shoots, get things together. I've been I was named as associate producer on a documentary, but I was more of a producer-director, I felt, because I was saying things like, why don't we shoot this, or shoot that, or that looks good, should we do this? There were even a couple of scenes where I said, why don't we do this, and then we did it. So that felt a bit directory, but I didn't feel like a director. I was not the director. Matt was the director, and also the producer very clearly, because he was getting the shoots together and organising the things. I was more of a second camera sound man who chuffed his ideas in whenever he felt like it, and had hours and hours of conversations with the director about the flow and future of the film. So that's why I got named as associate producer, because it covers that sort of role. But I would say this producer in this case might not be the person who wrote it. What I'm interested in is who wrote this, who wrote the story, who came up with the ideas, you know. So I'm going to look with Hino Renka first, scenario. No biography for this developer. And I don't know, because the names, I'm not educated enough on Japanese culture to know if this is a male or a female even. Scenario writer, yeah, writer. How am I going to find out if this person is male or female? I suppose, does it matter these days in that egalitarian world? I was going to say, if it's a man writing this, no wonder that we're getting into some of these ideas, and would a woman write the same story? But maybe we don't have to ask that question these days. Maybe that's a bit sexist of me. Maybe what's in a name? I don't know the answers to this these days. You obviously know who I am. Like, you know what I'm on. You know my tip. Open-minded, egalitarian, not sexist, not patriarchal. Pick myself up on those things, but realise I pressed allow all at the end by mistake. Fuck. There's only 4 people called Hino. It's a girl's name. 100% to girls. So it's a woman that's writing this, I'm to assume. But maybe, like I said, maybe that's, me. The problem I have is that I'm brought up in a patriarchal society. I'm brought up with the sexist and ideas all going on, and whilst I try and distance myself from the ones that I find abhorrent, they're also laced in with my education and socialization. So sometimes I don't know if I am being sexist whilst I'm trying to not be. So I don't know if we should judge who wrote this based on their sex or gender or not. Maybe we shouldn't. Maybe they're, you know, maybe they're female by birth assignment, but more fluid in their approach, or maybe they're lesbian, or like maybe that conversation doesn't matter, is what I'm saying. Maybe I'm being a bit sexist by bringing that into it. I don't know. My son spent 3 weeks in Japan to learn about how to make these games, and his mate married a Japanese woman. Sam Willett says, I worry too much. Nice to have a new chatter. I do a bit, don't I? I do worry a lot. I do. I think about things really deeply and concern myself with the deeper messages that we're projecting through this medium. I'm certainly not here on YouTube to just be like, oh, did you see what so-and-so's doing this week? Oh, let's have a drama and talk about the personal lives of so-and-so, as has been levelled at me this week. I'm certainly not here to do that. I've got a background in media production. I studied media production at HND level, which is like a step before a degree. And then I did sociology and psychology at university. I'm interested in the way people think, the way people behave. I don't find it like, I don't have a toolkit to deal with it. I have my ethics instead, and I veer on the side of things that I find ethically sound rather than what's popular. Like, I know the tricks, but I won't trick people. So it's a bit of a funny thing, and here we are on YouTube doing what I do. Yeah. I'm really lucky that I'm building an interesting and widely cultured and what I'm saying is the people in chat are quite smart. You in chat, you're all quite smart, and you've all got interesting and varied opinions, and I'm really lucky for that as well. I think part of the channel will live and grow by the culture that we curate and entertain in chat, and that's you. You are that. So I'm really lucky for you being here as well. And you talk to each other in chat, and that's fine. That's fine. So we've done a really interesting job today, you know. What I noticed as well is our views go up as it hits tea time, but at the same time, I want to get off the internet, go and walk the dog and chuff and do tea time, don't I? Maybe I should start these broadcasts a little bit later. Maybe I should be broadcasting from 5 till 7 in the evening instead of 2 till 4, 5, 6 in the daytime. You tell me. You tell me. What I'm going to do in the future, I've got an idea for this, is that because we stream on Twitch as well at the weekends in the gameplay. Usually gameplay is exclusively Twitch, but this is a game and I'm on YouTube with it, but it's a game that's more of a conversation piece. So that's why I'm not going to sit here and grind World of Warcraft on YouTube. I'm going to do talking on YouTube, conversations with you, and save the gameplay for Twitch, which has still got conversations with you, which I still interact with the stream, but, you know, I'm playing a game, essentially, on Twitch, and we're doing Genshin Impact at the moment. It's really fun. But I did want to say as well, what did I want to say? What's Giz a Job Mate? Giz a Job Mate is from a... Giz a Job Mate is from a TV show that we had in the early 80s in the UK, I think, or it might be wrong, and the characters were unemployed and they wanted a job, and so he went up to this, Giz a job, mate, giz a job, and it was like this, apparently it's Boys from the Black Stuff, historian says. I probably saw it when I was quite young, so I probably don't know exactly, but I used to think it was something else, but Boys from the Black Stuff, and it's like, it's entered the cultural psyche. This aggressive, giz a job, give me a job then, like, you know, attitude. It's entered the cultural psyche as like a meme. So it is something from Boys in the Black Stuff, it is. Yossa Hughes, there you go. I'll show you. I'll show you then. This will get me copyright. It's this one where he's following the paint line, man.
Gives a job.
Go on, giz it. Giz go, go on. I could do that. You don't have to walk straight, I can walk straight. Go on, giz a job. Go on, giz a go. I can put the nets up as well. Giz a job. Go on, giz it. Giz go, go on. I could do that. You don't have to walk straight, I can walk straight.
That's what it is. Yeah, if you want to tell me, that was what I was going to say. I'm going to experiment in the future. I do these multiple different streaming platforms, all sorts of stuff. In the future, I've thought in the back of my mind, probably through summer when it gets a bit easier, I'm going to do 2 streams on YouTube, 2 p.m. GMT like we do in the daytime. I'm also going to come on a little bit later in the evenings. I might even try and cover 3 time slots. Not forever, because I wouldn't be able to keep it up. But I want to see what it's like being on at a different time in the evening, drawing a different audience maybe. Maybe you prefer a different time. You tell me. Make sure if you've watched this far in this video, if you're watching this now, give me a like, give me a subscribe. And please, honest, give us a job, give me a like, give me a subscribe. You only have to press that button. It's easy, I can walk in a straight line. Press that button. And also, tell me in the comments when you prefer to watch these things, because I could do them at different times. I'm trying to build up a regular, consistent schedule. If it's a better schedule for you at a different time, I'll bear that in mind. So tell me in the comments what the best time of day for you is. Of course, if we do it earlier in the day like this, at sort of midday, for me, I don't want to get up too early. 2 p.m. GMT. If we do it like so I've had chance to get up and do my daytime stuff, walk the dog.
You're right, born to kill on your helmet and you wear a peace button. Was that supposed to be some kind of signal? I think I was trying to suggest something about the duality of man, sir. Thank
you for your tippies. I'll look at those in just a second. If you tell me what time you want me on, that's good. Because also, though, if I do it now, I wake up, have my breakfast, brush my teeth and do all that, walk the dog, get settled in, get my thing ready, start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, do a couple of hours, 3 hours maybe, 4 hours maybe, stop, then it's on YouTube. And that evening, people can watch it if they want. And later on in the day, because America's a different time zone. In America, they're only just getting up in the morning. They've got all day to watch it then. But if I start later in the evening, let's say I don't do this till tonight, then, you know, you either watch it in the evening or you're watching yesterday's one the next day. Like, I don't know, it feels like you kind of missed it the next day. It's yesterday. I don't know. This is the way I'm rolling at the moment. So, glad I said that. You tell me what's best for you. And this is our page on Coffee. This is this Tippy system. You can become a subscriber here and help us towards monetization on YouTube. You can click like on the video and help it to be shared. You can become a subscriber on Twitch and actually pay me some money to be my subscriber. Yes, I like that, yes. But here is the best thing, is that they take less of a cut. So if you give me £2.50 as a tip on Twitch, I should use the rounder number. If you give me £5, I get £2.50. But on this, if you give me £5, I get like £4.98 or something. I get like 90% of the money here. I get a lot more of it. They take less of a cut. So we use this system for the tippies at the moment. And this is something for the shipping cost to cover a fat new monitor. Thanks very much. That's loads of money. That's loads of money. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have been looking at monitors recently. I think I missed some monitor talk in the chat earlier, but I have not yet got my head around it. So I'm considering, instead of buying a big expensive one, buying a small cheap one and having 2 monitors that are reasonable and letting my knowledge build on the big expensive one. Let me just quickly show you this. Right, it's not just the case of the size of the monitor, like, and these can be like, that's £1,000, that one. So these can be fucking expensive. Obviously I want a great big wide one. I don't need ultra wide, but I want a wide one, don't I? Yeah, everyone does these days. It's the equivalent of having 2 monitors in one. I want it to be 4K. If I'm playing full screen on that, do I still need another monitor next to me for the chat? I think I might do. I've got one here that we're using, so maybe I have 2 like that, but that's quite a lot. Right? That's what I'm thinking of in the long run. It's really expensive, and you have to know about refresh rates, lag times. You have to know about color. There's 4 different kinds of monitor. There's like ULED, OLED, TH, TD, or whatever. You have to know all this sort of stuff about it, and I don't know enough about it. Obviously, I'm editing as well, so I want good quality color. If you get the color one, the good color one, it's not as fast at gameplay. But I want the gameplay one then, don't I? Because I want fast gameplay. But I also want the colors to look right. And, you know, there's all these things to consider, yeah? So long term, we're going there, and it's going to cost a lot of money. Until we get there, I'm considering, instead of that, at the moment, I've got a standard, like, what is it? I say standard, it's quite a good monitor. It's that. So I've already bought a monitor, but I didn't go mental. Like, I took the recommendation my sister gave me, and like her input, and her and my dad have helped me towards the cost of this computer as well. So like, I listened to them, and I got a monitor and we're working, yeah? We're working. But yeah, you're saying hook up an old TV on the wall. Like, there's all sorts of things. I don't want it up there. I've got one up there on the wall. I don't want it up there. It's not on the wall, it's on a stand. I'll show you. Let me show you this. Since we're doing this now. I put a new... Didn't I have my camera? Where's my camera thing? Webcammy. Have I not got one of these with webcammy on? Hang on. There we go. See, I've got a monitor. That's the monitor I use. It's quite good. It's not awful. It's quite fast for gaming and all that, but that's the monitor I use. I want a bigger one, though. I haven't got enough space on that monitor. There's the camera next to me. What I want is chat right next to the camera. I want chat right next to the camera. At the moment, chat's up there. Look, all the stuff I use. That's an old telly. And up there is the chat, the stream, the OBS, all the technical stuff for running the stream is up above my monitor. Yeah? That's what I'm looking at on screen. This is us playing games. This is the game that I'm playing. And up there is the actual technical stuff. So... So, what the problem is with that is that when I'm talking to you, you're there. I'm talking to you. My microphone wants to be over there as well, because when I lean into you, I should get louder. Yeah? Instead, my microphone's over here, so when I come over here, I get louder, and when I get closer to you, I get quieter. That doesn't make sense. That needs to change. When I'm looking at you, I want to read your chat. It's like working in Dixon's. It fucking is. It is. And I'm not technical like this. I don't like that sort of stuff. I don't like messing with wires and fucking about. I just like it to work. Anyway, I'm a media producer. I'm more the sort of person, like, it's what you're like behind the camera, not the camera that counts. It's what you're looking at and feeling and what you're choosing to press record on. That's what, you know, what I'm saying counts, not like the quality of the image that I'm saying it through. Anyway, but some people really love that camera shit. They really love that shit. They like talk about bit rates and stuff. I don't care as much, but I need to care because I'm a media producer. So the thing I want is, I'm looking at you and I'm talking to you. I want my chat to be there. Right there, so I can talk to you and read what you're saying. Maybe it just needs to be a little tablet. You know, maybe I just need a little tablet next to the computer, like a small monitor. Instead, I've got this big monitor, which I totally need for those extra window spaces. But when I look at you and talk to you, I'm looking up there. Look, you can see me now looking up there. That's not a good camera angle on my face, and I'm not looking at you. I'm looking up there. And you are up there on the screen. It makes sense on the screen because there's chat on the screen, look. There's chat. I'm looking up at it. I should put it over there. Now I look like I'm looking at it. It's these sort of things. It's eye lines and it's stuff like that. So there is a lot to do to tidy up this setup still. And yeah, an old telly ain't going to do it. I've got to get the right monitors fixed in the right places, doing the right jobs. And I need to learn about 4K. I need to learn. If I'm spending $1,000 on a monitor, I'm not going to do it overnight. I'm going to think about it for a long time and get the right one. So I'm thinking maybe now, I mean, with that tippy snippies you just give me, maybe I can afford it with this. Like, maybe instead of that, we just go for small monitor. You know, forget 4K. Maybe just go for something like Like that's not even expensive. That's 60 quid. I can afford that now this month. I mean, maybe I'll just go for something cheap and cheerful and small, put it over there next to the camera, put chat on it, and like we're away in that sense. You know, I can continue using this monitor and the telly, but I look at you and your chat is there. It's like this is like a stepping stone option, which I'm considering as well. But there's not much point in taking 60 quid out of the budget to throw in the toilet, is there? And, you know, you could spend 250 quid on a small monitor. So I don't know. See, I still don't know. But all I need to do is feel a bit more comfortable with my window space and talking to you on chat, and I'd be able to see the chat and not looking up there. So your boy has 3 small monitors. He mods on online games, yeah. It has been the tradition to buy multiple monitors and put them together, like I've got here. It's much more usual to see 2 monitors. Look, I'll do this. Multi-monitor gaming setup. It's much more usual to have multiple monitors, but that's because technology and the price of production means that these monitors are more affordable. It is now becoming more affordable to be able to, you know, buy a great big monitor. So what they're trying to do there with those multiple monitors, widescreen. I can't just press one letter at a time, the fuckers. But what they're trying to achieve is still, you know, you're achieving exactly the same thing with the wide monitor. It's just that in the past that's been really expensive, prohibitively expensive, and now they're starting to make more of them. It's about means of production, cost of production. If you're producing lots of these in a factory, the price comes down. Before it was just for specialists. Now everyone wants them. We can make them cheaper. But it is essentially the same thing. You know, that is not some special, some of these are not super special 4K things. They're literally like 2 screens squashed together, just without the line down the middle. They're not, they're bigger screens, but you know what I'm saying. They're achieving the same end. And my question that I don't know the answer to, which is a problem to me, is that if you say to the game, go full screen, does it do that? And I still have no space for chat, no space. I need another screen for OBS, which is the broadcast software. I need YouTube open to see the YouTube is working, and I need your chat. I need those things not on my screen where I'm gaming. Unless I can put them in the corner, that'd be fine. But when I press full screen Genshin Impact, it goes full screen, I can't see anything else. So I need a second screen to put that stuff on. So maybe you need this and another screen, that would do my head. If I bought that and I pressed full screen for the game and it went all the way to the edges and I can't see anything in the corners, I want to be able to do this. Reject all. I want 2 things on my screen. I want the game I'm playing, and next to me I want the chat. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I want. But some games don't let you do that. Some games need to be played full screen. So it would do my head in if I was buying a fucking great big monitor and then at the same time buying a small one to go next to it. Maybe that's what gets done though. I don't know. Just entering into this world now, so I'm not claiming to be knowledgeable, and I don't want to spend money until I know what's going on. And the fact that you've got so many options, you know, do I go for cheap? Do I go for colour quality? Do I go for 4K resolution? Do I go for size on screen, pixel density? Do I go for OLED, or do I go for TA or NA? Or like, there's 4 different ways of producing the screen image. Which one of those is better? Do I need the fastest gaming? I need to sync with my GeForce RTX. You know, it's just not the simple conversation. So we'll get there eventually. Thank you for your tippies. Thank you for your tippies. That's what's getting us there. Learning so much here. See, I'm only just learning it though. I'm only just learning it myself. And the multi-monitor stuff, that's that old telly above me. That's an old 720p telly. That works. I can put it next to it and I can move things between the 2 monitors. Yeah, it works. So I'm not ungrateful. I think, you know, if I can see the stuff, I'm winning. But improving the setup is always on the cards, isn't it? We've got so many things to improve and move forward with. I want to set up a little podcast thing going as well. So there's always more to do. I hope you've enjoyed it today. I hope we've had a good day. Let me turn this image back on just to finish. which I might not want to actually, mightn't I? But she's ready. I'll just prove that I'm not going to continue playing this now. Don't want you thinking I'm going to play this when I get off. Is there a way to turn it on? I want to save it if I can, because I don't want to. Like it says, config auto, save, load, skip. Oh, that's config. That's config. Is this one? No. How am I going to configure? Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. No, it's taking pictures of her. Ah! Save. Right, I pressed all the buttons and it got me to save. So there you go. Save. Oh, it's got an auto. It's got an auto save, but I'm going to do this one because we might want to come back to it. We might want to come back to it. But for now, I just want you to know that I'm not playing this. I'm not going to turn this off and suddenly start playing it. No, that's gone now. That's gone. Bye-bye. Don't need that anymore. I paid for it. It was £3 on the sale. We can come back to it and play it again if you really want to see the conclusion. You tell me. But for now, it's gone. You know, we played One Night Stand, remember? That's if you look on the stream, find our stream about One Night Stand. Similar. We talked about certain things in that One Night Stand. That was interesting as well. So we play these sort of games on stream and we talk about them. But I'm not like, you know, that's not my... You can see the variety of games we've got here on the Switch even. Bear that in mind. Like, I played this War of Mine, Moonlighter, Boreal, Tenebrae, Children of Morta, Stanley Parable, One Night Stand, The Gardens Between, Dark Souls, Fortnite, YouTube, of course, King of Seas, Kirakira All-Stars. I'm not just into this. The game was just the background music. We're here to chat about anything. That's it. That's right. That's the point. Yeah, that's the point. I'll keep bringing interesting things to stream. We'll keep chatting about different stuff. And it will never be... It's a revolving carousel of content. It will never just be the one thing. So you can guarantee that you can always get something interesting here. And specifically, like games like Silent Hill, when it's a really serious game, when I'm really gaming, I'm doing that on Twitch. So if you don't like... You know, if you think I don't want to see all these chuffing computer games, don't worry. This is not that channel. Although I will be uploading all of the Genshin Impact gameplay to this channel. Every stream I do ends up here. Even the Twitch stuff. But, you know, I am a full-on gamer as well in my free time. We do all sorts. You got boxing, you got Tartaria, you got words on stream, you got it all. You got it all. You've got it all. She's got it all. And that's by French and Saunders. Or is it Absolutely Fabulous? Strange that you can't find that because it was a catchphrase of theirs. She's got it all. Or was it just on AbFab? Patsy's best one-liners. Like they were looking in a magazine and she was going, oh, she's got it all.
What will you drink if you stop drinking? I should drink water. It's a mixer, Patsy. We have it with whiskey.
Can't remember where it'd be now, so... Don't want to get copyright.
47. No, further. Patsy said... Yes. 47. Hey, Hilt, if I said you have a beautiful body, would you hold it against me?
Anyway. We demand to have booze and interactive word games. We demand booze. I'll do that one. Since I've done this one, I'll tell you what, it does come up copyright on my YouTube. It does come up, and I don't bother to fight it. I could fight this as fair use because we talked about it. I introduced it. I said what it was in cultural context. It is fair use. But, you know, I can't be asked because I'm not monetized yet, so what does it matter? As long as it's not blocked. It doesn't matter as long as the video is not blocked. But it does. They get right on us for this shit. But what the hell? With Nail and I demand booze.
The thermostats, what have you done to them?
Wait! I just showed you something and you couldn't see it. What am I doing? What am I doing? There we go. Richard E. Grant, I have, you know.
I wouldn't drink that if I was you.
Why not?
Because I don't advise it. Even the wankers on...
Even the wankers on the site don't drink lighter fluid.
on the site wouldn't drink that. That's worse than meth.
It's worse than meths. The wankers on the site don't drink this. It's a far superior drink to meths. The wankers on the site don't drink this because they can't afford it. There's some aspiring actors. That's Withnail and I. That's a very famous... This is what happens in Britain. Very famous in Britain. I think it's like a cult film. It's a cult film. This is one of my favourites. Presuming Ed. I mean, there's so much of it is a favourite. So much of it, but Presuming Ed's one of my favourites. Brain, which has made it high. So yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those. It's one of those. So the Camberwell carrot, exactly, the Camberwell carrot. So called because it looks like a carrot and it was first rolled in Camberwell. The Camberwell carrot. So yeah, we've had a good one today. You've been good. Warning, heads up, we've detected copyright material in your stream. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly say about Withnail and I, so that I absolutely cover fair use if I ever want to fight this later, because I can fight it. You just have to type it all into Google and tell them, and like, Withnail and I. It was requested in chat that someone suggested it, so I've brought it up on the screen, and now I'm going to tell you it was a British black comedy film written by Bruce Robinson, loosely based on Robinson's life in London, who in the late 1960s, the plot follows two unemployed actors, Withnail and I, who was actually called Marwood in the script, portrayed by Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann respectively. They share a flat in Camden Town in 1969. Needing a holiday, they obtain the key to a country cottage in the Lake District belonging to Withnail's eccentric uncle Monty, and they drive there. The weekend provides less than recuperative. Its legacy is that it's noted as being one of the finest British movies ever made. Its influence has been cited by several filmmakers, including lots of people there. There's a drinking game associated with the film. Filmmaker David Fincher attempted to create an unofficial reunion by casting all three of the film's main characters in Alien 3. I didn't know that. But McGann and Brown appeared, but Richard E. Grant turned down his role. Oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame. In 2010, McGann said he sometimes meets viewers who believe the film was actually shot in the 60s, saying it comes from the mid-80s, but it sticks out like a Smith's record. So there you go. There you go. That's lots of information about it. I have now covered the fair use criteria of commentary. There. You know, if you're watching this in my YouTube... you know, if you're watching this on my YouTube, frequently questions about fair use, what constitutes fair use, the amount and substantiability, we only used a very little bit. We only used a very little bit. We didn't use the heart of the work to create the heart of our work. The effects, just so you could see it, purely fictional works. It wasn't that transformative, although it kind of is, because we talked all about it and it's part of our stream now. You're not watching that film. So when does it apply? It's not about crediting. It's not about saying no infringement intended. It's not that. It doesn't matter if I gave credit. It's not about giving credit. It's about the use for profit and the context. So I've definitely created what we call fair use commentary about Withnail and I there, haven't I? Definitely done that. So hopefully YouTube will understand that and not send me another chuffing strike, the chuffers. But what can you do? What can you do? Listen, what I can do now is I can go and get off the internet, do myself a bit of tea, walk the doggy. Tomorrow is Friday. I've got no plans for Friday daytime stream, but no, today's Friday, isn't it? I'm tripping, sorry. Today's Friday. So what I need to do tomorrow is we're going to be on Twitch. It's the weekend. Going to be playing Genshin Impact, and I might even be there tonight a little bit early. So you be good, my little puckos. I will see you anon. And remember, if you can't be good, then I'm going to make you take off all your clothes and become famous for it. So, you know, you probably won't enjoy that, or you might. I don't know. It's not up to me. As long as you. Anyway, if you can't be good,